Welcome back to day 2 of the 50th anniversary of the SBA Surety Bond Guarantee Program. I'm your host and program MC, Kedar Massenberg, and we are glad to have you joining us today as we continue to honor the last 50 years helping small businesses through the SBA Surety Bond Guarantee Program. What to expect? If you're joining us for the first time, I encourage you to interact and stay engaged. Submit questions during our sessions using the Q&A feature. Review our resources feature between or following sessions and connect with colleagues on our social media wall. Be sure Can you guys hear me? Be sure to stick around today for our award ceremony at 3 p.m., followed by our keynote speaker, Marcus Lemonis of CNBC's The Prophet, which will close out at 4 p.m. Eastern. As a reminder, use our live help feature in the platform to video chat with one of our event staff if you have any technical problems. Live help, if you have any technical problem, is open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. today. And lastly, once again, before we start, thank you to our generous contributions of our donors. We appreciate your generosity, and we encourage all of our attendees to access the donors features in the platform. Please access that feature. And now, today's first session will include a discussion among industry leaders regarding the next 50 years of the surety bond industry and SBA. Please join me in welcoming our session moderator from the Office of Surety Guarantees, Mr. Jermaine Perry. There you go.
Okay, here we go. Sorry, thank you very much, Kedar, for the introduction. Okay, a little technical difficulty there. But once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the OSG and the Next 50 Years discussion panel. I'm your host, Jermaine Perry, Management Analyst in SBA's Office of Surety Guarantees. Who better than our distinguished panel of surety professionals we assembled today to discuss the future of the Surety Bond Guarantee Program. During this chat, we want to touch on the ever-changing work environment from a private industry perspective, a federal perspective, and a trade association perspective. And at the end of our discussion, we will take a few questions. So please submit your questions by clicking on the Q&A icon at the bottom of Also, you can find SBG material in the resources section of this site. So before we begin, let me introduce our panel. First, we have the CEO of the National Association of Surety Bond Producers, Mark McCallum. Welcome, Mark.
It's great to be here, Jermaine. I'm really excited to be celebrating 50 years of exceptional service that you guys have done for small business. Looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you. Next, we have Chris Downey, the Small Business Committee Chair of the NASBP. Welcome, Chris.
Jermaine, good morning. Thank you. It really is an absolute honor to be here to celebrate this anniversary. Thank you.
Good morning. Also, we have the President and CEO of the Surety and Fidelity Association of America, Lee Covington. Welcome, Lee.
Thank you, Jermaine, and everybody in attendance. Congratulations on 50 years. Great to be with you today.
And we are happy to have Brian Carroll with us today, Vice President of the American Subcontractors Association. Welcome, Brian.
Sorry. Again, Jermaine, thank you for having us today. We're so excited to be here and share this celebration with you and celebrate the last 50 years of an outstanding program.
Thank you. And lastly, we have the Director of SBA's Office of Surety Guarantees, Peter C. Gibbs. Welcome, Peter.
Of course, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be amongst you guys.
Okay, so to each person, starting with you, Peter, can you briefly tell us more about yourself and a little bit about your organization?
I'm gonna be brief because I want the other gentlemen to talk about what they do. But of course, I'm the director for SBA's Office of Surety Guarantees. Been with SBA for over 30 years, and I am so glad to lead the Office of Surety Guarantees and celebrate and to be celebrating 50 years as a program.
Mark, can you please introduce yourself and your organization?
Yes, absolutely, Jermaine. So NASPP has been around since 1942. We are an international trade association comprised of companies that employ licensed surety bond professionals. Our members are around the country, in the U.S. territories, Canada, and some countries, and they really focus on helping businesses of all sizes secure and maintain surety credit and make them successful in their efforts to be ongoing viable businesses.
Chris.
Hi, I'm the chairman of the NASBP Small and Emerging Business Committee, and I feel that we align very closely with the mission of the SBA. My day job, I'm an agent, a surety bond agent in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Great. And Lee?
Yeah, Jermaine, Lee Covington, President and CEO of the Surety and Fidelity Association of America. Our members write over 97% of all surety bonds written in the U.S. and all of the participants in the SBA Bond Guarantee Program are members of SFAA. We've been around since the early 1900s and focus primarily on advocacy around surety bonding issues, but also provide education both to our members and to small minority contractors who want to obtain surety bonds through our model contractor development program, and look forward to talking more about that and how we may be able to partner in even a greater way with the SBA moving forward.
Same here. And Brian?
Sure. I am the current National ASA Vice President. We are an organization that's about the same age as your program today. We were founded in 1966. We have roughly 3,000 members across the country that are subcontractors and specialty trade contractors that work across the country and sometimes on U.S. projects abroad. Likewise, as kind of Christian said, my day job is as a board certified construction lawyer, working primarily on heavy construction projects in Texas and across the U.S.
That's great. So let's get to some questions, and hopefully the audience will also have some questions at the end of our discussion. So let's start with you, Peter. You've been around the SBG program for a while now and have seen and fostered many advancements in the SBG program, organizational structure, outreach strategies. But in general, how do you see the SBG program moving forward into the future?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. I think the next natural step for our program is more utilization of technology, because, as we stated yesterday, this program gets about $6 billion appropriated every year. And currently we use up about $2 billion of it. So I think, we need to find a way to make, to reach businesses who may not have the resources, to hire professional organizations to help them do what they do. So maybe we can incorporate some of those things by using technology. And I think that's going to, help us eat up some of that $6 billion that we don't utilize.
Well, yeah, $6 billion is a lot of money. So the next question is for you, Mark.
Okay.
The NASBP and the SBG program has a great relationship and has often collaborated on special initiatives such as the Bonding Across America training program. But going forward, long term, how do you envision a successful partnership, and what ways will you measure success?
Sure. Let me step back for a second. First of all, I think surety is needed now more than ever. I can't imagine something more relevant to our future than a knowledgeable third party assessing qualifications and then providing a performance guarantee. So if we're looking out 50 years, I see a bright future for surety bonds. And in turn, I see a bright future for this program. And I heard it yesterday from some of the excellent programs. Surety is not well known, and the Office of Surety Guarantees and its program is not as well known as I think we would all like it to be. I think working collaboratively with SBA through the Bonding Across America program was certainly very important and a first step in kind of moving and building on that awareness. I see continuing in those efforts, but I see doing more individually, both SBA and NASBP, and with our partners, Surety and Fidelity, Associated America, ASA, and others, and looking at, I think, other ways, whether it's podcast or other means for outreach. And I think that's going to be really important in the next 50 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. Not well known, but well supported, as shown through our 50th anniversary. So thank you to all of our partners. And Chris, for you.
Yes.
The mission of the SBG program is to assist small and emerging businesses, which is a focus of your committee. This is one of the reasons why we exist as a federal program. Although we have assisted this group for the past 50 years, what suggestions do you have that would allow SBA to continue assisting small businesses in the next 50 years?
Yeah, first, when you look at the overall process of a construction company, which is mostly what I deal with, the bond is just a component. I mean, that there's so much more involved in all that. But going forward, what I really see is my committee working with the SBA on the outreach, and I think what we can do is, because the NASBP has members in all 50 states, we can do the local outreach. We can be the boots on the ground that can really help facilitate the information and knowledge base of all of this.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Peter did create special positions in our office to assist with localized and having that more of that personal touch. So I think it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think we're really on a great path. I mean, we started with the Bonding Across America, and I think that was an excellent program, but that was just the start.
Yes, I agree. So very similar question for you, Lee. Can you think of any long-term opportunities, initiatives, or projects which would strengthen the collaboration between the SBG program and SFAA?
Well, I'm going to sing off the same song sheet that Mark and Christian are singing off of, and that is really looking for opportunities to provide joint education, determining how we can scale that, and also determining how we can create greater awareness. Like the NSBP, we have local surety associations in most states, and you know, I know that Mark and Christian have worked on kits for their members. You know, we're have that contemplated as well. So Peter and I have talked about, Jermaine, you've been a part of those conversations of how we may be able to work through your tremendous platform at the SBA, provide more education to small businesses, including minority businesses.
Yeah, it's great. It seems like scaling is a theme right now because we have a great product. It's pretty much getting it out to the people who need it the most. Brian, same question, but what type of collaborative initiatives do you want to see between ASA and the SBG program, and why?
Well, I think I can start with the why. So when we had the opportunity to be here today, we polled our members about the usage of the program, and it was exceptionally low, which was shocking to us. And so what that told us is that one of the areas we need to collaborate with is on the education component. We discussed already today, there's a $4 billion portion of the budget that's not being used. That's ripe for people to step up and take benefit of that program. And I think through an educational partnership of, you know, your local outreach to our local chapters, or even at our national convention as a speaker, to say, this is a program that's available to you, and it's powerful because it's in the bid bond stage, the performance bond stage, and the payment bond stage. Additionally, we see opportunities to collaborate with you on the bid bond or the bonding thresholds, not just bid bonds, but the bonding thresholds, because there's been repeated pushes to elevate those levels and keeping those at a lower level to provide the protections for the small business owners when they're beneficiaries of the bond. Likewise, this program allows them to obtain the bonds to then provide those when they need to be in that position. And we see that as an exceptional area where we can work together and be allies and advocates for moving that forward.
All right. And I think that's a great point. And I like also the idea of a road show, but maybe it's a virtual road show.
Yes.
For the time being. But great. So back to you, Peter. So the SBG program places great emphasis on technological advances, on how we administer our program. Example, going 100% paperless. But thinking long term, what other ways can we adopt technology to increase participation in our program?
You know, I'm an advocate of technology, and I think us utilizing technology in the last several years has really, you know, positively impacted like our cycle time and how fast we do claims, and we've saved partners, you know, being able to upload into the system. So again, I think that the next natural step is to figure out a way where agents can submit applications to us, you know, when they're on the move. I know that, you know, agents are time is essential for our partners. And, you know, I want to be able to, where they don't have to always come back to the office to communicate with us. So I think, you know, mobile communication and, like I said earlier, you know, finding a way to integrate underwriting by the use of technology, I think that's the next natural step for our program.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And for those who may not understand the lingo of what cycle time means, I think Peter's talking about the time we can receive something and actually get it back out the door to you as a beneficiary. And we earlier in our conference we mentioned, you know, we're processing applications between 1 and 2 days, but guess what? We can be faster and more efficient. But Mark, how about you from a technological point of view, from the agency or the producer? Where are we going?
Sure. First, I just want to commend your office for all the improvements you've done, not just on technology, but process-wise, consulting with the industry on regulations that needed to be revised or reformed. it's been a true partnership over the years, and it's gotten you to where you are now, an exceptional program. So thank you. You know, as Peter said, we are a cell phone kind of culture now, and to the extent that we can be more mobile, I think bond producers are like everybody else in that regard. They're mobile. They're out there. They want to be in front of their clients. Processes and products that you would offer that would facilitate that will be very important in doing that. So, you know, I think there are a lot of federal agencies that may not have as progressive thoughts as your program does. And, you know, part of the equation is convincing federal agencies that digital signatures and seals, bonds in electronic or digital form are fine and acceptable. I think the COVID crisis has really shown us that we're kind of behind the times. And if nothing else, for health reasons alone, we need to come up to and realize the potential of technology. So to the extent that we can partner in spreading that word with other public obligees, that would be a huge help to the producer community.
Yeah. You know, in our world, we call that a trigger point where something happens that we create something new. But I know from our program perspective, we try not to wait for the trigger point, but we try to be more proactive in developing new technology and processes. So Chris, how about you? From a small and emerging business perspective, talk about technology.
Yeah, first, this program needs to be highly commended for its advancement in technology. I recall in the 90s when I pulled my first SBA bond, rolling the application into the typewriter and putting it in the overnight, sending it out, and then a week later, here it comes right back because we goofed something up, and thinking, oh boy, this is going to take a while. Well, now it's a matter of days, sometimes hours, and really, I mean that in itself, you guys need to be really acknowledged for that. That is spectacular. And with that being said, I mean that's just going to be the trend of our industry. I think right now, as Mark mentioned with COVID, we're going to kind of do a reassessment of technology now, and things are going to change. But you guys are right on the cutting edge of all of that. So really, I think yes, technology is going to change a little bit, but yeah, you guys are right on the edge of it. And to get to the important thing is the message. Sometimes I think I myself get lost in technology. I have to hand my iPhone off to my kid. But with that being said, it's how do you get that information? And people get information a lot of different ways, So many have to just pick up the phone because they can't navigate the computer. And I think just being understanding that people are different and they receive information different ways is important to keep in mind. But the technology angle that you guys have achieved is spectacular.
Yeah, that's amazing what you just said. A lot of people receive information in different ways, but we can still use technology to cater to those different ways of receiving information. Lee, how about you from a surety perspective?
First of all, I want to join my colleagues in just commending Peter and the entire SBA team for the tremendous advances that you have made in simplifying the process. We hear that over and over again. And I think you're hearing that ring among all of us here. So just, a big kudos and thanks for all of your work in implementing common sense improvements to the system. Of course, as we all know, there's always opportunities for continued improvement, right? I think in all of our organizations, and we look forward to identifying those. I think all of us had the opportunity when we got this tremendous privilege of being with you today to reach out to our members and survey them, and really came back to something that Peter and the whole team already know is the success of the program is going to be, you know, on the shoulders of simplicity and making it as inexpensive as possible. Again, I want to just commend, you know, the elimination of wet signatures and allowing e-signatures has really had the most beneficial change to our members. You know, some of the comments that we received back is that there are still opportunities maybe for live chat or real-time website, you know, questions that go in, and we're getting very, very good feedback that the team gets back and is very responsive. But that's something that people are using. Even I'm using it now, live chat, even though I can't get my background to work, even after 30 to 45 minutes this morning. My apologies, Peter. You know, I think there are also opportunities around, you know, currently just manual entry into systems. To your point, Peter, if you're on the go, you don't want to have to go back to your office and do that. And so there's some opportunities. We look forward to sharing that with you offline in more detail. But again, just want to really commend you for your focus on and your execution on making the program as simple as you can. And I know you're you know, looking for even greater ways to do that.
Yep. Oh, amazing feedback. Brian, how about you from a subcontractor perspective?
I think for us, it was kind of hit on with COVID-19, you know, challenges create opportunities, and it's forced us in the subcontracting community to be more dynamic, more interactive through technology platforms and things to deliver the products and services we want. One of the things as an organization we've done is kind of call on Congress and federal agencies to help us in this time. Let's help us keep the work moving forward. Let's help us keep building American infrastructure that makes us strong. And with that, one of the things, and I'm going to pick up on a comment Mark and Lee both said, was the wet ink signature. The GSA nearly 20 years ago allowed the transition to electronic signatures through their ACES technology. We think there's a very real opportunity for this program in SBA to call on other federal agencies and adopt the technology that's already there. The roadmap is there for us to go that way. And when we transition to the dynamic electronic signatures, everything's faster, everything's quicker, and the ultimate result is the program is more accessible to our members and to be consumed, which is what the goal is to benefit small businesses. And so we hope that there's an opportunity for us through SBA to push that into these other agencies and get them to be as forward-thinking as the Small Business Administration is on a go-forward basis.
Okay, that's amazing. What I'm hearing is like knowledge sharing and also integration will be beneficial. So Peter, back to you. The mission of the SBG program is to assist, as we already said, small and emerging businesses. Mm-hmm. And we have increasingly become more successful at it as the years go by. Mm-hmm. But what other areas in the bonding space do you see the SBG program playing a larger role in?
Great question. But before I answer your question, I want to make an announcement to our partners, to our agents, and to our small businesses. As you know, we reduced our fees temporarily for the past couple of years. And effective October 1, we are going to remove temporary from the temporary fee reduction. So I think that the industry should be pleased with that. We'll have an announcement soon, letting everyone know that the fees are going to remain. So, you know, it's a couple areas that I think that we can get into. Number one, I think that we need to look at all the different types of bonds out here. Mm-hmm. and see how if small businesses are having difficulties getting those bonds, and if it fits within the requirements of SBA, then we need to adopt it. One of the interesting thing that we found out when we did the AMPRM, where we sent it out to the industry, man, there are so many different types of bonds out there. And if you call 10 people, they all have different definitions of one of them. So I know it's definitely going to be an issue that I'm going to need, you know, NASBP and the Subcontractors Association and SFAA to sit down with me and hopefully come up with a solution where we can actually help small businesses. So that's the one area that I think, you know, increasing our product to small businesses. And then the second part I would say is that somehow we need to penetrate the federal procurement area, because although we are a federal program, I'm just amazed that even though, you know, we try to speak at every event, every webinar, but there just seems to be a lack of knowledge about how we can really help small businesses. So those are the two areas that I want to focus on going forward.
Yeah, and for those who are unfamiliar with the federal process, rulemaking process, Peter mentioned ANPRM. That is Advanced Notice of Proposed Rulemaking, and that's the process we go through to get feedback from the public in order to create rules for our program. Okay, so Mark, the SBG program has been a valuable tool for many of your members. What other ways or what things, aside from technology, can the SBG program do to increase its participation amongst your membership?
Well, before I get to that, I want to piggyback off something Peter said. I remember, I guess maybe it was like 2007, the Treasury Department used to have a program for contracting officers to learn more about surety bonding. And they haven't done it, I think, maybe since that time. But if we want to go out and reach out to procurement officers, maybe there's a way that we can partner with SBA, the Treasury Department, and others to offer a, quote, bonding university for contracting officers. I think that is something that we would all jump at, that opportunity. And I think that could go a long way to raising the visibility of the program and dispelling misconceptions about the product. You know, in terms of the bond producer community, I mean, I think you do an excellent job. You really stay in touch with us, with our members, about what they're facing, what they need. And I would just encourage you to keep doing that. You know, I remember some years ago, there was a regulation that had been on the books for a while, and it simply was not in keeping with prevailing practices out there. And that was a regulation that said, look, if you have a change order that's $50,000 or more, then the surety needs to notify the SBA about that change order. The problem is, and particularly when it comes to private work, is that when you look at the standardized forms, they all waive notice being provided to the surety with respect to change orders. So the surety wasn't in a good place. And then that was you know, a potential impediment to using the program. We sat down, our members, with Peter and members of his team and others, and explained that, along with Surety and Fidelity Association of America. And lo and behold, we worked through that, and in due time, we got that changed. Again, that kind of communication, that kind of relationship is powerful, and it goes a long way to us supporting the program, and in fact, enhancing it and being an advocate for it.
I think it's amazing. I love the bonding university idea. I mean, the people who's on this panel right now, we can actually have a master class on surety. So, Chris, for you, we noticed that getting small businesses to attend events is sometimes difficult. What will it take to connect with small businesses who can benefit from our program?
Well, I think we just need to keep trying. You know, the Bonding Across America program was an excellent program, and we had a lot of discussion about just attendance, because some of those were really well attended and some weren't. And the important thing is, at the end of the day, that we did it. I mean, the outreach is what's really important. And the thing to kind of understand about it, it's an interesting conundrum, because nobody really wants to know a whole lot more about surety until they have a bond need, right? So, and the same goes for everybody. I mean, a contract officer isn't, loitering on surety blogs unless they have a problem, right? And then they need to know. So that's number one, why I'm so excited about the Bonding Across America thing that we did, is just that partnership. If we can parlay that into a bonding university or into a resource that has multiple things to it, just basic information, occasional webinars, live stuff, phone numbers, people that you can call if you have questions, and then further, I would like to try to make the NASBP and our membership available, because we have the local outreach, and I mean, while you could call somebody across the country, that's fine. It's better to talk to your neighbor. I mean, people prefer that, and we would prefer that. So I really think that's the direction that we should be heading.
No, that's great.
And I mean, as far as attendance, how do we get more attendance? I think the more people know, the more they will join us.
Yeah, I agree. Lee, in recent years, we have seen a drastic increase in surety participation in our program. How can the SBG program maintain this trend amongst your membership?
Well, a couple of thoughts on that, Jermaine, or a few thoughts. Number one, we need to look at the threats, to potential participation, and also the opportunities. One of the threats right now is a disturbing trend stemming from a case called Narula. Most people in the industry, where surety companies were put on the hook for essentially certifying or verifying that a particular contractor met the certification requirements for set-aside programs. And so, that's really a risk that is not a part of the underwriting process, and our members are not, very well positioned to address. And so, that could serve as a barrier, for companies willing to write bonds on small contractors who are seeking that certification. So we want to look and see if we can partner with SBA to educate policymakers and decision makers about the potential ramifications of that on the program. And so that's one thing, is to look at the threats, and then look at the opportunities. I mean, it really comes back to simplicity and making the program as inexpensive as possible. Thank you, Peter, for that great announcement today. We certainly applaud that and encourage even a further looking at whether it can be made more inexpensive. In reaching out to our members, we did identify some things, that, well, first of all, again, we want to just commend you for the incredible improvements on the turnaround time. I think, the feedback we got is turnaround time is around 24 hours or less. That's phenomenal. The claims processes are incredible. In terms of just eliminating paperwork requirements, here's an example of the form 994. Our members indicated there are some pages that are repetitive. Could we have a master form and then only really have one page that has to be filled out, when all that master form can kind of be on file, so to speak. Another piece of feedback we got back is to maybe align the program to function a little bit more like the 7A loan program. My understanding, based on our feedback, the overwhelming majority guarantee bonds are produced via a Plan A. And so I don't know all the details about that, but that's just some of the feedback. And I know you guys are looking for, opportunities to make it even more simple. And those are just a couple of items. I'm just looking here at my notes to see if there's anything else. But again, you're doing all the right things, and we appreciate the fact that you're not resting on your laurels and you're looking for continuous improvement like we all are. So thank you so much for all your work in that area.
No, thank you, and thanks for the feedback. And as I mentioned earlier, Peter's door is always open. Our phone lines are always open. Email is there, so we're willing to speak, engage, and do our best to ensure that we're actually serving our beneficiaries. Brian, for you, how should the SBG program engage with your membership?
Well, I want to piggyback off something that Chris said, and it's education. That's the focus. I remember when I was an undergrad, I had a professor in engineering school talk about the only way to win more work is to bid more work. It's the same thing with education. We need to try every way possible, whether it's webinars, social media, emails, speaking in person. All of those things are tools that are available to us, and we've just got to do that more in the process, especially in light of COVID and how it's changed everything. Again, it's an opportunity for us to outreach in different ways that people are now receptive to, that helps get the message of this powerful program out to the consumer. And that's what I really think we need to do. And that's what would help my organization's members, is that connectivity that you can bring to the table.
Right, connectivity. Okay, so everyone, that concludes all the questions. But I want to do one last thing before we go to the Q&A session of the discussion. I would like to ask each of you to complete the following sentence, and I want you to say the first thing that pops into your head. Okay, so make it quick, unfiltered, starting with you, Peter. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, so the next 50 years, there will be an upward trend in?
SBG utilization.
Okay, Mark.
Greater awareness for the program.
Okay, Chris.
The economy.
Okay, Lee.
I'm going to follow Peter. I've learned to do that. SBA utilization and possible application to commercial bonds.
Brian.
More remote working and more increase in technology in the construction industry.
Okay, now we're going to flip it. One thing. In the next 50 years, there will be a downward trend in, Peter.
Claims.
Yay. No, bye-bye wet signatures.
Chris.
I can't go after Peter. Wow. No, there'll be a downward trend in surety availability, and we'll need the SBA.
Lee.
I'm with Mark on this. A downward trend in the requirement of wet signatures.
Okay, Brian.
A downward trend in the availability of the labor force as technology is changing with us.
Good one. Okay, no one wins a prize. There are no prizes for this one. But I would like to now turn this over to our Q&A moderator, and let's find out if we have any questions to ask our panelists.
Hi, this is Kevin Valdez. We do have some questions. The first one is from Karen. The question is, are surety companies implementing digital indemnity agreements? And I believe, Mark, you may have touched a little bit on that with your quick answer.
That's for me?
That's for you, Mark.
Okay. I have actually gotten information that some sureties are doing that. I can't say that it's a majority by any means, but there are some sureties that are considering it and some that have implemented it.
Lee, do you have any insights?
I really don't. I only get just some anecdotal, kind of similar to Mark. I mean, I think that there, are some perceived barriers out there to that on the indemnity side. But that's something that would be good for us to survey our members, and so we get a little bit more feel for that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. The next question is from Ellen, who is from Surety Bond Associates that run New York City's MWBE Bond Readiness Program. Ellen asked, what actions are the associations and SBA taking in helping MWBE contractors in New York City with obtaining bonding?
I mean, I can say that I have personally been to several like MTA and School Construction Authority to try to meet with these organizations to see how we can help. You know, our program is not a minority or MBE program. We're a small business program, but you know, we make every effort to help any small businesses by meeting with anyone just to see how to tell them about our program and how we can assist them.
Just to add on to what Peter was saying, you know, since I've been at NESBP, both NESBP and Surety and Fidelity Association of America have met with the City of New York, Port Authority, and other public owners in an effort to make their bond forms, you know, less objectionable and more fair, more equitable. And when we are able to do that, and that's not always easy, that has a benefit to all parties that are trying to bid that work, including disadvantaged and small businesses. We're not always successful, but we always give it a try.
Yeah, I'll give a little background about SFAA's programs. Probably for at least the last 15 years, SFAA has operated a model contractor development program, and we just did an audit of that to look at the history. I'm new in my role, just under 2 years, and so we wanted to look back, and there seemed to be a substantial focus, you know, for the program in the state of New York. It's our understanding that many of those programs have been taken in-house by the governmental procurement agencies, and then some of those are being done by private contractors now. But I'd love to get the name of the person. I'm sorry I didn't catch it after the program. And if there are opportunities for us to put on our model contractor development program in collaboration with NSBP and SBA, we would be more than happy to do that. So we continue both with particular states, with particular cities. We continue to provide resources for that kind of education and our curriculum. We also work with the U.S. Department of Transportation in getting experts for their bond education program as well. So I would like to follow up with the person who asked the question to see if there are opportunities for us to help even in a greater way.
Okay, so we will make sure we pass that information along to you. I'm sorry we are unable to get to all the questions. We have a lot of people who are interested to ask some more questions, but we're coming down to the last moment. So this concludes, everyone, our discussion, and I graciously thank Peter, Mark, Chris, Lee, and Brian for their insights and candor, and let's make the next 50 years better than our last. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. Great work.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This is how much 90% on all that, but they can't. Can you hear me now? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Sorry about that. Great job to the panelists, Peter, Jermaine. Thank you. We'll see you back soon at 1 p.m. for the next panel discussion. And we'll keep you updated. I'm sorry, hold on. I got a little confused. Here we go. I'm super excited about our next session where we hear from small business as they discuss their success in the SBG program, moderated by OSG analyst Kevin Valdez. Again, to learn more about the panelists, visit speakers featured in the platform. And now let's take a look at one of this year's award winners from Sacramento, California.
Hi, I'm Heather Lutzy, the District Director in the Sacramento District Office, and I'm here in Sacramento, California to present a very special award for Lifetime Impact for our Surety Bond Guarantee Program to Miss Shirley Baugh. I'm here with Carrie Ellenwood, the Sacramento District Office Lead Lender Relations Specialist and Acting Deputy Director, to present Shirley with this award. We're looking forward to her surprise. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
This is to celebrate SBA's 50 years of providing surety bond guarantees, and you being involved in the program for 39 years is just an incredible feat. And we're so proud and supportive of you and your efforts to support our small businesses.
Wow.
So,
thank you so much. Wow, I just can't believe this is happening. And it's so good to see you guys and bringing it in person.
Yes.
That's more amazing, I think. Thank you, SBA Office of Surety Guarantees. Happy 50th anniversary.
And now, welcome back. Our next session is one that I am personally excited to watch. We will hear success stories from several small businesses, moderated by OSG analyst Kevin Valdez. Over to you, Kevin. Okay,
Thank you
there
everyone for joining the Small Business Success Stories discussion. Today, we are speaking with 4 small business owners who have participated in SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program. I'd like to welcome Vera Hall, owner of Innovative Performance Construction Company located in Mississippi. Pull her up. Vera started her company in 2011. She first took advantage of SBA's bond guarantee in 2019. Next, we have Omar Veliz, owner of Veliz Company, located in Texas. Omar first started his company in 2009. He first took advantage of SBA's bond guarantee in 2016. Next is Asiran Das, owner of Narissa Building Company, located in Delaware. Asiran started her company in 2014. She first took advantage of SBA's bond guarantee in 2016. Finally, Harmon Ranger, owner of Constructure, located in Virginia. Harmon started his company in 2009 and first took advantage of SBA's bond guarantee in 2014. All right, today's discussion will be a Q&A format. At the end, we'll take questions from the audience via the chat box, but please feel free to enter your questions in the chat at any time during the discussion. So start off by hearing what each of your businesses do. Vera, you go ahead and start.
Hello, and thank you for having me on your discussion of small business successes. I am Vera Hall with Innovative Performance Construction, and I am from Mississippi. And this year we're celebrating, we're being the SBA Small Business of the Year. And what we do is general construction, and our focus is civil construction, new construction, and commercial renovations. And my role is a GC as well as project manager.
Thank you, Vera. Omar?
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Omar Veliz. I'm the founder and owner of Veliz Construction. We started the company a little bit more than 10 years ago. We're based in El Paso, Texas. We're a general construction company. We like to pursue complex, technically challenging projects. For instance, science projects, technology projects, healthcare projects. Again, we're based in El Paso, Texas. We perform in Texas and New Mexico.
Thank you, Omar. Asr?
Hi, I'm Asr Das, founder of Narissa Building Company. I started my business in 2015, but really started to operate in 2016. We are a carpentry company. We do all commercial work. And in the 4 years we operated, we did, I am very happy with what we did so far, because right now we could bond for 2.5 million. Without the SBA, that would not have been possible.
Thank you. And finally, Harman.
Hi, everybody. My name is Harman. I am the president for Constructure, Inc. We're a general contracting company based out in the Virginia area, serving the DC metro area, primarily engaged in public and private sector construction work. We've been doing fit out, renovation, ground up construction, design build work. Have experience working in, gained experience working in the industrial warehouses, hospitality sector, some of the office buildings, and then off late we've also started doing some special projects for the federal government.
All right, thank you. So whether just starting out, recovering from a setback, or looking to expand into new opportunities, small businesses can face hurdles when bidding on work that requires a surety bond. What hurdles have you experienced in bonding as a small business? And we'll start with you, Omar.
Yes, early on when I started the lease construction, we experienced some growth, and fairly quickly I realized that the bonding was going to be a constraint unless I took necessary steps to limit or mitigate that constraint. We were growing, and the only way for me to mitigate that constraint was to start utilizing the SBA program. With the SBA program, I was able to expand my bonding capacity at the same rate that I was growing the company. So again, early on, I was able to be able to identify that potential constraint and address that potential constraint and challenge as a small business, new venture. And that's the way I've been able to utilize the program on my company objectives.
Thank you. Asaran, what about you? What hurdles have you experienced in bonding as a small business?
Well, when I started off my business, I had no direction. I wasn't, I thought I was going to do general construction, but then I thought it was easy because my income, my finance was so low. I had to go in. I started off to do as a carpentry company, and beside that, I have lots of experience with carpentry. So in order to, I started off really small, but it was government projects, and all government projects require to be bonded. And because of my experience and my education, the bonding company, even the SBA saw, they took a chance with me, and I got my first project. And after that, I knew the whole, I learned how I could get help. And from there on, I worked every project I did. The SBA supported me, they backed my bond, and I was able to grow to where I am today. I've never had a project where it wasn't backed by the SBA. So I'm very confident I could grow to the limit until the SBA is going to say you need to stand on your own feet. And I'm very happy.
Thank you. And Harman?
Kevin, bonding, it's always been a challenge for a small business from day one, from get-go. You start day one, and you're trying to companies who want to bond you back, and we always have this challenge of limited working capital or limited funds in the company to start, and then on top of that, you have the challenge of pretty much almost no experience when you start a new business. Now you may, as an owner or as a person, have the experience on working construction projects, but when it comes to your company as a startup, you don't have any experience of that sort. And surety companies are looking for that kind of experience. They're not out there to risk their their funds, their assets to bond a company who doesn't have the past performance. So that challenge is always there as a startup, and as you go along the road, as you keep increasing your bonding capacity, you face that challenge pretty much almost every day as you keep growing. From a $250,000 bond to a $10 million bond, it's a challenge for a small business every day. We just
Thank you.
we're all
and
facing.
Vera? Oh, sorry. Yeah. And Vera, your experiences?
Yes, and thank you. And after picking back on the other panelists, I can concur with what they have to say. Without the SBA Bond Guarantee Program, I was limited. I was limited to bidding projects. They had to be $50,000 or $150,000. I could not bid any projects that were $500,000 or $1 million. And so, can you imagine starting my business in 2011 and finding out about the SBA program and Surety Bond Program in 2019, how farther along I could have been had I had the SBA Bond Guarantee under my belt. So I had a lot of hurdles, you know. If I wanted to bid a project that was $350,000, I couldn't because, like Harmon said, you know, they would always say, oh, you don't have the financial strength, or you need to find somebody to mentor you, oh, you need to do something else, maybe this is not your field. It was always negativity, but I'm thankful for the SBA Surety Bond Guarantee Program.
Thank you. And so small businesses have found the benefits of SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program through SBA's district office webinars, SBA's website, program supporters in the surety bond industry. Tell us how you came to discover the SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program, and starting with Asman.
When I started my business, it was because out of pure hardship. It was a downturn of the economy. I was unemployed. I had 2 kids in college, so I had to do something. I came to Delaware and I realized how much resources they have out there. I went to everything that they had, all the resources, all the seminars, and they showed me the way. If it wasn't for the state of Delaware, that's how I got through with my business. The city, they give us classes and to open your business. Then they had a class for construction management. It had, I was the person with the least experience in that class. I literally begged to get into that class. They let me in, and all my, all the companies that was there, they helped me get off the ground. So on top of the city, I must say they did a phenomenal job. Then the SBG DC office, they're unbelievable. Even up to today, if I have a problem, I would call them, and the people who work inside of there, I think I bother them the most. And then the SBA office itself, you know, I would call them, and because I'm new in Delaware, and then everybody else, you know, it's not like I know a lot of people, so that's where I turn to, and that's where I get the most help for even up to today.
Thank you. And Harmon?
Yeah, so when we started back in 2009, you know, that was really, economy was really bad. As Asran said, you know, it was really tough to survive, stay in business. But and while we were trying to get into the public sector, we explored various places, and eventually the SBA program we got introduced to our bonding agent, Josh. He's a great guy. We've had a great relation with this our agent, and he's the one who introduced us with this program. Up until then, we were literally trying to knock on doors, trying to find out somebody who could give us the surety. And he gave us he showed us the way there. But yeah, SBA's bond guarantee program has been great. We are where we are because of them.
Thank you. Vera.
Okay, I entered the 8A, the SBA 8A program, and I heard about a conference that they would have, the National 8A conference. And so I registered for it, and it was in Nashville, Tennessee. And SBA, Small Business Guarantee, had a booth at this conference, and Tamara Murr was there. And I just poured my heart out to her. I said, look, I'm in construction. It's hard for me to get anything over $250,000. I mean, all of these bidding contracts are over $250,000. I can't even compete with these other people because my at the time the surety wouldn't even let me bid anything over. And she said to me, you need to come over to our program. We guarantee all of our bonds. We help you. We'll show you the way. And then she said, who is your insurance agent? And I told her. She said, oh, they're familiar with us. I'm not understanding why they didn't tell you. So I said to her, I said, give me your card. When I send you an email, you respond back, and I'm going to forward them your email. When we got back, I did just that. She replied to my email, and I forwarded to my insurance company. And they reached out to SBA on my behalf, and I tell you, it has been a tremendous blessing. I'm able to bond projects up to $2, $3, $4 million. Just recently bidded a project for the Memphis district. It was 1.1 million. So it has truly been a game changer, the SBA Surety Bond Guarantee Program.
That's great to hear. And Omar. Omar, are you there? Oh, all right. Well, while Omar is coming back on, over the program's 50 years of existence, we've helped thousands of small businesses grow and succeed. This certainly includes all of you. How has SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program helped your company? And we touched on a little bit of this just now with Vera, but just giving a little bit more clarity. Harmon, can you start?
Yeah, sure. Kevin, like I said, from day one, when we started in 2009, it took us about 2 years to gain some experience before we decided now it's about time to get into the public sector. We started reaching out and exploring the options available as far as bonding was concerned, and pretty much knocked every door up until the time we met our bonding agent. Again, I keep mentioning Josh's name. They've been really helpful, and they're the one who eventually put us in the right track with the SBA program, and eventually we ended up landing our first project in 2012. It was a little over 400,000. After that, every step, every project, we've you start with the 400,000. The bond guarantee program allows you to do 2 times your previous project. So you got to build up on that. So that's how we built up our past performance. We built up our bonding, but SBA has been backing us up, and they've been our backbone on this entire process. We're at a point where 20x when we started. So that's a huge success for us, all through SBA.
Great. And Vera, I know you just spoke a little bit on this, but go ahead.
Okay, I can tell you several stories. I'm going to give you a story specifically. It just happened, I guess it was last year when I first got with the SBA Surety Bond Program. We were bidding a security camera contract with a local college or university, may I say. And at the time, I was dealing with another surety, and I'm not going to name them. And so that surety said, what are you going to do? What is your estimate? And I said the estimate of that project is going to be about $650,000. Oh, that's too much. You need to stay in the 250. And so the insurance company that I was dealing with had already started reaching out to SBA. So I said to them, I said, I need to bid on this project. It's a woman-on set aside. They have a DBE set aside, and I really need to bid on this because no one else is going to bid on it. And so they reached out to SBA that morning and asked them where were they on the process with my application, and they told them, oh, well, yeah, we can bond that for her, the $650,000, and that's what happened. That morning of the bid opening, I went in with an SBA surety bid bond to bid that project, and I was the only contractor to bid that project and was awarded that project as well. So it has been a blessing, and it has totally helped in my business to grow and to enhance where it needs to be. So that's one of my stories.
Thank you. And Omar is back with us. Omar, I'm going to ask you a double question here just to get your answer from the last one and also on the question that we're asking right now. First, tell us how you came to discover the SBA Surety Bond Guarantee Program, and let us know how it's helped your company. And Omar, if you are responding, I think you might be on mute. Well, it looks like Omar might be working on his connection. While we're waiting for him, Asran, how has the SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program helped your company?
I started off, like I said before, the first I went to one of the seminars that was held by the SBA, and I went and I just wanted to listen. I didn't even thought anybody was gonna give me bond then. And just being at that seminar, I was walking out, and my agent, he's still my agent today, he's like, I might be able to help you, send me all your documents. And he I sent everything, and I kept in touch with him, and he gave me bonding for $250,000. I literally was jumping up and down in my office because never thought it was gonna happen. I got my first project, I bid my first project, but I keep pushing the envelope to do bigger and bigger jobs, and he's like, no, you're too big, you gotta, I need to stay at that limit. But the SBA back all my projects. Right now, I bid $2.5 million projects, and sometimes it go into 3, and I'm gonna be like, could you ask me, please? And he worked with me. He's very happy with me, and we have such a good relationship. And he believes it. Was sometimes when I couldn't believe in myself, my agent, he stays with me, and you know, both of us, I feel like he's part of my office. I talk to him all the time. He worked with the SBA. He said he's gonna, you know, he works really hard for me. And it's all about your relationship. You get a good agent who's gonna go there and get that bonding for you, and it's all about the relationship you have with your agent and what they have with the SBA.
All right, great. So we have other small business owners watching right now that are also navigating the contract bonding world. What advice would you give a small business owner trying to obtain contract bonding? Vera?
Yes. Picking back on Ashron and what she was saying about an agent, that is so key, because the thing that Cameron asked me was, who's your agent? And when I told her, she said, yeah, they know about us. So had my agent, you know, not had a relationship with the SBA Surety Bond Guarantee Program, you know, that I wouldn't probably be here. But the advice I will give a contractor who's looking for bonding is to find an agency that is that has a relationship with SBA and that is willing to work with you to grow your business. Because other agents will say, oh, they're going to have too many fees. Oh, you got to pay something extra. I don't even blink twice when I have to pay whatever I need to pay, because I know where I came from. I came from $50,000 to where I am now, so I don't have a problem with it. So my advice is, do not be discouraged when you hear an agent say something negative. Find one who will say, oh yes, we deal with them, they're great. Yes, that will match you perfectly. Find an agent who will be able to make that connection for you and with you and help you grow your business.
Thank you. Omar, if you are able to unmute again or connect, what advice would you provide a small business owner right now on that's trying to obtain a contract bond? All right, and so we'll move on to Asran. Can you provide I'm sorry. Yeah, Asran, can you provide any advice?
I would say somebody who's looking for bonding, first of all, you need to look at your finances. And your finances says a lot. And take the advice of your bonding agent. He's going to look at your finances, because I made a couple mistakes in my time that I made money. I took out some of the money from the business, invested elsewhere. And he's like, what are you doing? You cannot do that, you know? And yeah, I got hit in the hand and said, no, you don't do that. But he will guide you, and he would tell you what, you know, look at your finances and tell you when you're making a mess and how you doing. And you better follow his advice if you want to grow your business. The bond, and I do all government work, or I work on schools, I work libraries, you know, so all the jobs need to be bonded. So if I don't have that bonding, I will not be able to work.
Thank you. And Harmon? Well, it looks like Harmon may have dropped off as well. So we'll move on to the next question. The value of the small business lender relationship is well known. However, the value of the small business surety agent relationship is oftentimes overlooked by small businesses. When did you realize the value of your relationship with your surety agent? And we'll start off with Omar.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. Sorry, I was
welcome back.
At a power outage here in the area, and worst time to have a power outage, but things happen. Well, I realized the benefit of that relationship when I started my company. I had worked with this bonding agent before starting my company, when I was working for another company. And when I started the company, I already had that relationship. He understood my company. He understood the quality of the work that I was doing. He understood the market that I was pursuing. He understood my background as a builder. So it was a little bit easier to establish that relationship, to get that bonding and minimize the challenges of getting bonding for a startup company. It's always a little bit more risky to bond a new startup without a track record, as opposed to bonding a company with 10, 20, 30 years of experience.
Thank you, Harmon. Thank you, Omar. And so it looks like we may have Harmon back as well. Welcome back. And since you missed the last question, we'll go ahead and ask both in the same. What advice would you give a small business owner trying to obtain contract bonding? And when did you realize the value of your relationship with your surety agent?
Yeah, so as far as bonding, I'd say that you should have when the key would be to have a good bonding agent. When you're trying to I would say that communicating agent would be a key. You want to give them, you want to explain them what your vision is, on where you are currently and where you want to be in the next 5 years or 10 years. That is a big thing to get to where you want to. As far as your bonding is concerned, you want to get that communication open with your bonding agent. Yeah, pretty much. That's all.
Great. And when did you realize the value of your relationship with your surety agent?
Yeah, I mean, when we started, like I said, we started fairly small, but then even on our first year, when we got our first bond in 2012, I've been sharing my vision. We pretty much talk with our bonding agent almost once in 3 months when I'll catch up on where we stand on our project, and kind of tell them what details, so projects can go in a very good direction. They can go not as you anticipate them to be when you start a project, but you should be sharing what you have, where do you stand on each project, and that has been a key. And I've been very honest with my bonding agent, and he appreciates that. And I think that has played a very great, important role in having us build our bonding program. And then of course sharing your vision. That's the key. You want to let them know where you want to be 5 years or 10 years down the line. That plays a huge role.
Thank you. And Asran.
Could you repeat the question again, please?
Certainly. When did you realize the value of your relationship with your surety agent?
To be honest, from the beginning, my relationship with my bonding agent, it started 4 years ago, and I keep telling him the difference. I am not a general contractor. I am a subcontractor. We do carpentry work. and I hire people to work for us. They literally work for us, and this is where they pay their bills. So it is very important that my surety company know that I need to have work, and because I need to keep my people employed. They're looking for me, and I train them. And this is where I need to keep my people. So when I bid it, I'm like, I need a job to last us a year and a half. So, if I do a job like a $250,000 job, as soon as that job finished, I need to lay my guys off, and that would not work. I need, when I get a job, it lasts for a year and a half. The guys do carpentry, they're gonna work for a year and a half, and they wouldn't be looking elsewhere. So my bonding agent knows that. He knows how much I value my people. He know I need to keep working, and so I look for bigger jobs because I need to keep them working. And I bother him all the time because I need to, every time I bid, I would go for a bigger and bigger project. And he knows that.
Thank you, thank you. And Vera.
Okay, so I've realized the value of my relationship with my surety agent was when we moved to the SBA Surety Bond Program. When I shared with them my concerns that the current surety was not hearing or was not trying to help my business grow, that if I continued with that surety, that I would probably be bankrupt, or, I would not advance in the next year or two. And so when they listened, they heard me, and then they executed. That was when I realized the value, that they were for me, that they supported me, and that they believed in me. And because of that, they wanted to see me grow as well. And they knew that the only way I could do that, or my business could do that, was that we moved to the SBA Surety Bond Program.
Thank you. So while building one's contract bonding credit is how a small contractor moves into larger work, there are many other challenges to success in the industry. Outside of bonding, what is a challenge you faced as a small business owner, and what advice would you give those facing that same challenge? And we'll start off with Asran.
One of my biggest things was workman compensation. I had to get workman compensation, and I'm not sure about the other industries, but that is a really big thing in my field. Also, finance to float the project. If we have a project that is $2.5 million, we must be able to float the project. And that eats up a lot of money. As a subcontractor, you pay for everything. You pay for all material, you pay for all labor. And only after you finish, you could bill. You bill every month. That is a lot of money. You need a line of credit. You need to have some money in the bank. So with that's the finance end. Then you have insurance. Then you have bonding. So you need to fill all those gaps, even if you're gonna work in government work. And I'm not too sure about the private work, how they operate. But like I say, I do all government projects, and you need those 4 things to operate.
Thank you. And
finance.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so.
Go ahead, now. Awesome.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin. So like Aston said, cash flow is always a problem for a small business. Funding your payrolls, funding your subcontractors. We generally work as the prime, and often a lot of times we'll have situations where we are not getting paid as we expect to, but our subs and our team who's performing diligently, they are expecting to be paid on time. So cash flow is a huge concern and something that we face pretty much every day. Other than that, I'd say from a prime contractor standpoint, especially working for federal government, public sector clients, past performance is a huge issue. When you start, you don't have any past performance. Besides the bonding, now you are dealing with past performance as well. So in that sense, SBA has a very great program, which is the 8A program, which we are currently engaged in. We're on our 4th year right now. We've had tremendous success getting on this program. And if you use this program in the right way at the right time, I think a small business can really, grow and get to their goals. Yeah, so the 8A program has been great for us, and I'd really advise that if you qualify for it, you should certainly look into this program. There are opportunities. Once you get on the program, find a good mentor. We have one. We've been fortunate to have one. We have had their backing up until now. And we've gained some tremendous success because of this program. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. And Vera.
Okay. Okay. The outside of bonding, I have to agree with Ashron and Herman about the finances and the past performance, because when we were in the emergence leaders class, that's all they said: cash is king, cash is king. And once you bid on these projects and you're awarded these projects, okay, how are you going to buy the materials? How are you going to start these projects? Because you have to pay for the bonds, you have to pay for the materials and the mobilization to get everything on site. So the first thing is financing. You have to make sure that you're putting a percentage of your revenues aside so that you can be able to float the job, as Ashron said. Past performance, even in the 8A program when I started, that was one of the things they would always say, oh, well, we're not going to select you for that one because you don't have the past performance. And what they mean by past performance is, just because I was a general contractor and had past experience with roofing or fencing, I didn't have the experience with civil construction. So they weren't going to let me start a project to go and do some clearing and grubbing and some riser pipe and didn't have any past performance. But I had everything, the past performance and everything other than that. So it's pivotal or very important that your finances are up to par and that you make sure that the projects on a federal level that you're seeking, that you have the past performance that's relevant to that project.
Thank you. And Omar. Omar, if you are responding, you're on mute. Oh, there you are.
Can you hear me, Kevin?
Yes.
Great. What is the biggest challenge that I'm facing as a business owner right now, aside from the bonding talent acquisition? Construction is booming. And it's very hard to find skilled laborers. It's hard to find experienced project managers, project engineers, estimators. That's the biggest constraint that I see right now for my business. How are we addressing some of those challenges regarding the talent? I'm promoting my HR department. I think Jack Welch was one of the first ones to mention or promote the importance of the HR department in a firm, in a company. Also, another initiative or actions that we're taking regarding the talent acquisition, we're promoting within the company. We're putting a lot of money, energy into training, and so far we've been able to manage that constraint, that challenge in the company. But that's the biggest challenge that I'm facing right now.
All right, thank you. So a small business owner develops a relationship with a surety bond agent in order to build and grow contract bonding credit. The relationship is a long-term professional investment for the small business. Who the business selects as its surety bond agent can impact success down the road. When choosing a surety bond agent, I'd like each of you to name the single most important factor to you. And we'll just say the factor and move on. I want to make sure that we have some time to get some questions from the audience. So first, with you, Harman.
I'd say you want to pick up an agent who understands your business process flows in and out, your strengths and weaknesses, and who can advise you or give you a true advice on what should be your bonding capacity or your, besides the program. I mean, there are companies out there who would just, come out and tell you, we can get you bond up to, certain dollar value. But a true agent would not do that. They would evaluate your strengths, evaluate what your bandwidth is, and based on that, give you a genuine advice on what you should be going for. That's what I would say.
Thank you. Thank you. And Vera?
I would say an agent that believes in you and believes in your business. Because if they believe in you and believe in your business, then they will give you the best advice. They will guide you and share with you where they see your weaknesses are and what you need to develop to be strengthened.
Thank you. And Omar?
Can you hear me, Kevin?
Yes.
You don't just want a sales rep with your bonding agent. You want a business partner. You want a business advisor. I've been able to develop that relationship with my business agent, and they can really help you in other aspects of your company if you're able to develop that rapport. And if you feel that your bonding agent is just a sales rep trying to make the sale, that's the wrong person for you. You need to get more out of that relationship. They're able to have a better perspective sometimes on the market. They have a good grasp looking at your financial statements. They can pinpoint the deficiencies in your company based on what they're seeing in the market and their experience looking at the financial statements. So you really need a business advisor, not just a sales rep in your bonding agent.
Thank you. Thank you. And finally, Asun?
One of the things I would say too, you want a bonding agent that would evaluate risk. You would be going in there and he knows your business and it has pitfalls. Yes, you might be able to get bonding, but it might have something out there that's gonna hurt your business. Your business you could go out of business. You may have a GC that they would say, okay, come on, because your price is so low. And then you go in there, your bonding agent gonna say, no, they gonna bankrupt you as much as you, they will help you, they will advise you and tell you, look, there's risk ahead. And risk is a really big thing in a small business. It's a very risky business.
Thank you. And so at this time, I'd like to take the opportunity to just answer one or two questions. We're running close to our end here, but we'll move over to the question and answer moderator.
Yes, hi. This is the moderator, and I'm looking at the chat box. I would like to, and hopefully you can hear me, I would like to just mention a few things I got from the chat box. Raju mentions that bonds, SBA, hard work, and discipline of small business entrepreneurs brings in the success, and he did attribute SBA to a lot of opportunities. Lisa also mentioned a few items about being an authorized agent. But Kevin, Giselle was asking about, can you repeat the 4 things? I think it was like 4 important things. Do you recall that section?
I believe it was the advice for small business owners trying to obtain contract bonding. So if each of you could just quickly summarize that in maybe 1 sentence of what your advice was. And we'll start with Asim.
I didn't quite get what he was asking about the.
Oh, yeah, it's the advice when a small business is looking to obtain contract bonding. You provided advice earlier on what they should be doing. So.
One, if you're a new business, it's gonna be your background, your education, your background. So it's like it helps with your past performance. If you're a new business, if you're an older business, it's your past performance. It's gonna also be your finances. And of course, you must have workman compensation, general insurance. You gotta have all the stuff lined up in order before you could actually work.
All right. Well, I apologize for cutting everyone else off, but it looks like we're out of time. So at this time, I just want to go ahead and thank our speakers for discussing their experiences today. The stories of how the SBA Advantage helped you succeed are great inspiration for those seeking the same results. Also, thank you to everyone on the call. SBA is proud to make a difference in the small business community. For more information on SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program, please feel free to visit our website at www.sba.gov/OSG. And now we'll move back to Kedar for our next event.
Good job, and thank you to everyone. Coming up is our agency roundtable, but first let's take a look at one of this year's award winners from Golden Valley, Minnesota.
My name is Brian McDonald. I'm the District Director here in the Minnesota District Office for the SBA, and I'm here to award Michael Williams from CCI Surety Bond, Inc. The award for Outstanding Surety Bond Company of the Year. This award is quite significant. This year is the 50th anniversary of the program, and really CCI is representative of the highest volume production-wise of this program. They've helped many thousands of small businesses increase their revenues through contracts that they might not otherwise have gotten through this program. Good morning, Michael Williams.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Brian McDonald with the U.S. Small Business Administration, and I'm here today to give you an award for Outstanding Agency from the U.S. Small Business Administration. We just want to thank you very much for the high level of production and commitment that you've made and the impact that you've made with small businesses here in Minnesota and across the country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very, very much. This is just outstanding. I was not expecting this. Thank you. Thank you, SBA Office of Surety Guarantees. Happy 50th.
Welcome back, everyone, to the best kept secret in the SBA program, Surety Bonds. Now joining me is Tamara Murray. You heard from her yesterday, and she and Richard Gomez took us through the OSG's first 50 years. Now she will moderate our Regents Agency Roundtable. Tamara, you're on.
Thank you, Kadar. Appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. As Kadar mentioned, my name is Tamara Murray. I'm an underwriting marketing specialist for SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program, and I will be moderating our agent roundtable discussion today. Small businesses can find it challenging to access and maintain contract bonding capacity like the small businesses we heard from in the last hour. So we've assembled a panel of experienced professional bonding agents to share their expertise with us today. I'd like to welcome our panelists individually. Joining us today are Shirley Baugh, owner of Valley Surety Insurance Agency. Welcome, Shirley. Shirley, be sure to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
We can. Hi, Shirley.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Our pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
Next up, we have Josh Edamati, Assistant Vice President of Construction Bonds, a division of Murray Insurance. Welcome, Josh. We also have Devin Moore, owner of Moore Surety Bonds. Welcome, Devin.
Hey, Tamara, thanks for having me. Happy 50th anniversary.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, we have Tom Sauer, owner of Tom Sauer Bond Agency. Welcome, Tom.
All right, yes, I unmuted and I think I'm ready to rock and roll. And again, thank you for having me and congratulations on 50 years.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate all of you being here. We thank you for offering to share your knowledge and experience as surety professionals and SBA authorized bond agents with us today. Since this is a virtual roundtable discussion, I'd like to provide a little bit of guidance on how we'll proceed. Many of you have been participating in the prior events, so it's going to look very similar. Audience questions can be submitted through the Q&A button, and we'll take those questions near the end of the session. I will ask each panelist a question, and then you'll each have an opportunity to respond before we move on to the next question. Ready to go?
Yes.
All right, let's get started with a bit of a fun question, I think. Many surety professionals, myself included, discovered their career path almost accidentally, but found they enjoy working in such a unique industry. As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? We'll start with you, Shirley.
Hi. Well, as a child, there's many different things I went through, wanting to be when I grew up. But the main thing I wanted to be was a nurse.
Wow. Oh, a very great profession. My mother is a nurse, so good for you. How about you, Josh? Josh, we're not hearing you. You may be on mute.
Uh-oh.
All right. It looks like he's connecting to audio. We're getting there, Josh.
Can you guys hear me?
There you are. We sure can.
Technology is a great thing,
It is.
I think the young guy would have had it figured out by now, but I guess not. Well, I answered the question, but, I said, aside from being a professional sports player, like a basketball player or something, or a police officer, like most kids, I was really into music. So I actually ended up going to music school for 2 years, and I wanted to be a producer like Mr. Massenberg. But once I got into college, I realized it wasn't for me in business, and like analytics was like more of my jig. So here I am.
Wow, very interesting. How about you, Devin?
Well, believe it or not, I actually wanted to be a bondsman growing up. My father was in the surety industry, dealing mainly with court and commercial bonds, and I had the opportunity to start a first profession, and that opportunity actually led to me being able to, like you said, accidentally fall into the surety industry again. So it's in my DNA, it's in my blood, and I'm glad I'm here.
Well, we are too, and then we do have a few surety professionals that have that DNA. So how about you, Tom?
Well, before I answer the question, I just want to say that 50 years ago, SBA changed the surety landscape by opening the doors for small contractors. And yesterday, when Richie showed those numbers, you didn't just open the doors, you blew them open. So congratulations on the first 50 years. We're going to have a great other next 50 years. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut, and that didn't work out. So I've been a bond guy for 42 years.
That's quite a big difference. Well, we all had much different career aspirations when we were younger, but kind of like Shirley, I think we go through a lot of those different levels as we grow up. And I think, I know I personally am all happy that you all chose to be surety bond professionals. A great group to work with. All right, so SBA authorized bond agents represent just a small percentage of all bond agents in the surety industry. How has using SBA's bond guarantee program enhanced your relationships with your clients? And we'll start with you this time, Josh.
Okay. When they're, big and bad and got the big, the big balance sheets, I think everybody wants a piece and it's pretty easy to handle. But when they're small and emerging, being able to be a solution provider and, roll up your sleeves and find a solution for them when they've been turned down by 5 or 6 other people, it's just incredibly inspiring, and I think you get a contractor for life when you can provide a solution for that contractor. So for me, it's been just great to be able to provide bonds for contractors through the SBA program.
Awesome. And what about you, Devin? How has being an SBA bond guarantee program enhanced your relationships with your clients?
Yeah, just to kind of follow Josh, it's actually been a great opportunity. The best thing I think about utilizing the SBA guarantee program is that it creates a sense of trust and confidence in the contractor, knowing that they're learning or receiving education during the process of actually obtaining a bond through the SBA guarantee program allows for that relationship between the surety and the contractor to be an easy gap to kind of bridge, So it's been a huge success and awesome help and resource for bridging that gap between the surety and some of the smaller emerging contractors. So kudos to the SBA.
Well, thanks. We appreciate that. How about you, Tom?
The one thing that I've noticed, it's all about relationships. It really is, especially with small contractors. They rely on our expertise to get things done for them and all of those good things. And the one thing that I really enjoy about contractors is they are probably the most optimistic, most entrepreneurial. How many other industries where a person can walk and so self-confident where they can walk out and look at a piece of dirt and say, oh yeah, I can do that for X amount of dollars. I mean, it's amazing. Contractors are amazing. And, I've been self-employed for most of my adult career, having companies. And for me, the relationship with the owners of the companies, owner to owner, business owner to business owner, it's just been always stimulating and just an incredible satisfaction. And I am convinced that we can do things on email. And Josh, you're right. You develop contractors for life because of the relationships and because you were there when they really, we were there. I shouldn't say you, we've all been there when these guys needed the help.
Right. Good point. How about you, Shirley?
Hi. Well, the SBA bond guarantee program has really helped my company grow. We take the contractor from very small, very just starting business, and we've been able to work a few of ours all the way up to the standard markets, and we're still bonding them today. It's a wonderful program. It's a wonderful program for the small and emerging contractor, and it's nice to watch them grow, and they're so appreciative.
I agree. You get a lot of loyalty from those small businesses that you help for the very first time overcome those challenges, don't you?
Yes.
All right, so we've heard some wonderful small business success stories during this conference, during the last hour, and all the way back to the beginning of the conference yesterday. But I think our audience would love to hear a little bit more. I don't think any of us tire of hearing success stories. Positive feedback is always great. So I'd love for each of you to share your favorite small business success story and how SBA bond guarantees helped your clients succeed. So this time, we'll start with you, Devin.
Oh, okay. How much time do I have? Because this is I could get into a lot on this. No, I do want to be a bit greedy and say two cases here, and they'll be really quick. I captured and grew a relationship with a contractor that had previously, before meeting me, been in the 1 to 3 million range of revenue, and after placing them with the SBA program, it grew their company significantly to the range of about 12 to 15 million within a matter of 1 year. And the success in that is not so much the revenues, is that they actually graduated out of the SBA program into a standard market. And then the biggest success, and they were, I'd say on that particular contract, that they were a certified business. But my biggest success, I think, was actually when I was able to do a bond for a contractor that on that project, they employed more than 65 individuals. So that contribution that the bond played in that matter really affected the economy. So I think that's my biggest success to date. In the SBA, again, I can't thank you enough.
Wow, that's great. How about you, Tom? You've been in this a long time. You probably have a handful you could tell us.
And, you know, Tamara, of course, I've been a cowboy most of my time, so I'm kind of going to divert from the question a little bit. But this year we've had 2 of our accounts that got their first bond through SBA, and we've graduated and we watched them grow. Well, we got word that we know that these 2 accounts sold their companies for millions, 1 for 10 and 1 for 7. And those are the home runs. Those are great. Those are wonderful. But, you know, another basis of success, and it's something that it's just so gratifying, is when we get invited to our contractors' company picnics, or we get invited to their Christmas parties, and you sit with the owner, especially the company picnics, with the families and the kids. You know, the teenagers aren't there because they've outgrown this, but the young kids are there. And just to sit with the owner and say, look at what you, the owner, has accomplished, and we're being a part of this team. That's a great basis for success as well.
I think so too, right? It's nice to have those personal relationships. Shirley, how about you?
Gosh, I've had a lot of success stories in my career. I think the one that stands out the most is a company that we first started bonding in the 90s. And of course, SBA wasn't as easy as they are today, I would say. Paperwork was humongous. But we started him out very small. He had just bought this company from another guy. And so we started him out small, $50,000 in the SBA. And eventually he worked his way up. And now he's in the standard markets. He's been in the standard markets now for, I would tell you, about 20 years. He's with Travelers, and he is one of the biggest contractors in Bakersfield. He also has a construction and a modular company, which helped him grow when the recession hit back in 2007. So having the modular company enabled the construction company to get work because of the modular company. And he still has both today, and they're both very successful.
Oh, that's great to hear. Josh, what's your favorite success story?
Well, one of them spoke just an hour ago, or actually, 2 of them spoke just an hour ago. It was great to hear those stories. But I'm the son of an immigrant, so I'm a little partial to hearing a story about somebody coming to this country trying to pursue their version of the American dream. You know, and when I see somebody who's got their own company and they've got their own story, I really get invested in them and I really want to help them succeed. And this one particular guy from Jamaica, he came and he had a really good story, and you know, I was introduced to him and we were working on a $50,000 bond in the SBA. And this was right when the Quick App program came out. Thank God for that Quick App program, because if we didn't have it, we would have had to submit his financial statements, and the answer may have been no. The Quick App program was able to help him get that first bond. And what it did, it allowed me to have a conversation with him about his financials. You know, he needed this bond and he was willing to listen, but he needed this bond right now. And, you know, I'm looking at his financials and I'm like, well, why is your cash negative? You know, why are you showing all these negative numbers all over your balance sheet? He's like, well, we're doing great. You know, I don't get what the problem is. And I'm like, well, your financials, you know, show me a totally different story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after we got that bond approved and we pulled and poked at the surety company until they finally approved it with SBA support, I hooked him up with a CPA. And within a week, we had a CPA statement and we graduated him to the standard market because his financials, he just needed somebody to come in there and help him clean things up. Now he's got, you know, a $20 million bond line with Travelers. He's very comfortable. He's doing great. But it was because of that SBA and specifically the Quick App program that he was able to get that bond.
Fantastic. I bet you're all familiar with those small businesses that just need that extra little helping hand, right? That leg up to get them where they need to go and to help them grow and get to that next level. That's great to hear.
Yes.
So, you know, I do a lot of outreach events, and small businesses sometimes ask why their surety wouldn't want an 80 or 90% guarantee from SBA. So I'd love to hear from you as bond agents why you believe the SBG program is advantageous in assisting small businesses. So let's start with Tom this time.
SBA is huge, absolutely huge. The Quick App, non-credit score based approval, and I'm happy to hear, is it official it's going to go to 500,000, Tamara, or is that still in the works?
Not official yet, it's in the works, but you know, we're one step closer.
but it's 400 now and $500 million, that's great. But it's such a godsend for emerging contractors and startups, and to where, you know, they don't have to, if they're, some people just don't have the 700 credit score, but their character is great. And so that Quick App is fabulous. The other thing that I want to hit on, and I want to, you know, you guys are all, the rest of the panel is going to have a lot to say about this as well, but your working capital approach to underwriting larger cases over the 400,000, soon to be, we hope, 500,000. It provides more flexibility in the surety industry than any other surety, any other underwriting approach. And so it allows contractors to enhance their single jobs and their aggregate capacities. And you know, most contractors enter the arena with the hope at some point, SBA arena, with the hope of graduating at some point, of course. And because of your working capital underwriting and consistent guidelines, it allows us to present a roadmap for our contractors as to, if we meet these, and these parameters, we can start going down that road towards graduation. But we want to time it, because with SBA, a lot of these standard sureties will not give us the capacity or anything else that SBA would provide. So we want to make sure we time those graduations for the best benefit of our contractors. I'll leave the rest of the panel because I'm sure these guys got a lot more to add than that.
All right, that sounds great. Shirley, what are your thoughts?
Well, I know, like I said, the SBA Bond Guarantee Program has really been a great help, you know, in my business and helping the contractors, the smaller contractors, to succeed. And like I said, I just love the program. I've been in it for a long time, not 50 years, but you know, a long enough time. I'm close to Tom on that one, but I won't say how long because then it says my age.
We don't want that.
No, not as
Nobody
women.
wants to expose that.
Yeah, but like I said, the program is a great program. You guys have come a long way since the beginning of time, as I would say. Back in the day, we used to have to deal with, the people in San Francisco. We used to have an office in San Francisco, and we used to deal with a man by the name of Bayram.
Oh,
I don't think I'll ever forget him. Will you? No. He made it so hard to get a guarantee. So hard. And today, it's so easy. I mean, the application process, you guys with the EAP system, you're quick on your responses. It gives us, an opportunity for that last minute contractor, because we have a lot of those. They're last minute. They wait till the last minute to give you their bid. And even if it's last minute, I can get in there that day and you'll give me an approval or a declination, one or the other. But like I said, the program is so advantageous to our business and to the small business contractor today.
Thank you. Hopefully you get a lot more approvals than you do declines.
I do. Thank you.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
How about
It's knowing
you, Josh?
the program that helps. It's knowing the program.
It does help. That makes a big difference.
It does. Yeah.
Josh?
Oh, sure. We can talk about like working capital guidelines, the fact that the SBA takes the line of credit as a form of working capital. It's great to be able to help contractors get it, but more on the big picture side, I mean, for the contractor, it doesn't make any difference. The bond is still the bond. The bond is still being presented to the owner from the certain surety company that's backing the bond, but behind that bond is the SBA's guarantee. And so if you've got a contractor that, is stuck at $1 million aggregate, but really wanted to, that's where you can go to the SBA to get that. And, typically the bond companies, in my experience, they've been willing to drop their rate, a little bit to cover the SBA fee and the cost of the contractors not paying a ton of more money to get that guarantee. But, it's an invisible guarantee. It's presented to the owner. It's just as good as a regular bond. And I say that to contractors that are, more worried about their perception than anything. But, especially when you're billing this on the contract, the owner's actually paying for the bond itself. What's an extra, 0.6% if you're getting 3 times as much bond capacity?
Right. Good points. It is, that guarantee is invisible to the project owner, right? We counsel small businesses all the time about, including total bond costs in their bid estimates and their takeoffs. It's nobody's business but their own. And as you heard from Peter in the last hour, Peter Gibbs, our director, that 0.6% is going to stay the same. I think we're all happy about that.
Yes, we are.
So Devin, how about you? We'll wrap this question up with you.
Well, honestly, I don't think there's much more to add. My colleagues have said it best. I mean, the SBA program is really a great risk mitigation tool, and that's what we're in. We're in the business of risk mitigation. So when resources are few far in between when it comes to some of the small emerging businesses, and it's not quite palatable for the standard market, the SBA has stepped up and been huge and standing behind the sureties and saying, hey, we'll back this 80 and 90%. So it's been, a great help and huge contribution to not only my success individually, but to the contractors out there who feel boosted from that trust that the SBA is willing to come behind and stand for.
Awesome. Thank you. Trust is a great word. I love that. All right. So we've all been forced to adapt to a new normal, right? In light of COVID-19, we're all working from home. This conference was supposed to be a live conference, and we've pivoted to a virtual conference, and everybody's had to adapt in a lot of different ways. I'm curious to find out from you how the economic impact of COVID-19 has affected the underwriting for your small business accounts. Has anything changed? Are things the same? What are you seeing out there in the surety marketplace? Any specific impacts to COVID-19? Shirley, we'll start with you.
Well, sureties are asking more questions now. Like how is COVID going to affect that contract? Is it going to affect it at all? Will you get your supplies on time? So more questions are being asked to the contractors today concerning COVID. And so far, I haven't really seen any major problems and anybody being declined because of something, because of COVID. The only thing I have heard is some contractors are expecting delays on their materials on projects because of COVID. And that I see as being a major problem right now, is because if these contractors can't get their supplies in a timely fashion, then unfortunately the contract isn't going to be completed in a timely fashion. So those are questions that, you know, we do have to ask up front. When we do get a contract, we look through it to see if there's anything in there concerning COVID. And then we ask the questions so we can be better prepared to make a sound underwriting decision on a certain contract.
That makes sense. I'm sure a lot of our small business attendees today are, you know, interested in knowing what questions they may have to answer that may be a little bit different from what they would ordinarily be asked outside of a pandemic situation.
Exactly.
Josh,
Yeah.
are you seeing similar things going on, something different?
Yeah, I mean, they're asking a lot of the same questions that, you know, my colleague Shirley said, but I did get my first declination on a COVID-related deal recently. And we were pre-qualified via a credit-based program. And this one, you know, this particular one went up to 400,000. Contract was 405. The surety was willing to listen to it. And we had a conditional approval in March, but they withheld moving forward on the project due to COVID. They came back to me recently and said, hey, we're ready to proceed. And we went to the surety and they said, well, number one, we're not comfortable with this type of work because of COVID and because of the location of work that they're performing. They're going outside of their normal territory. We would have considered it back then, but not now. And by the way, their credit dropped. So we're not going to be able to help them. And so I was just hoping that the contract would have been 399,000, so we could have made the way to get it in the Quick App program. But that we, you know, we're just going to have to sit and wait until hopefully some news comes forward. But for the most part, I mean, contractors are getting the PPP money, they're getting the disaster loans, they're building their balance sheets, they're very strong, and they're comfortable right now. But you know, we had, you know, aside from a few job delays, for the most part, the contractors' balance sheets have been good and everything's been okay.
That's good to hear. Hopefully that continues. Nobody wants to see those balance sheets and all of that income drop when we get those year-end financials.
Exactly.
Devin, how about you?
Well, it's not going to be much I can add, but one thing I will say is that the sureties that I've been doing business with have been doing a great job of pivoting and understanding that the COVID-19 it's happening and it's affecting everyone. So they're taking another look at some of the contractors and expressing the education portion of, hey, have you looked at this contract? Have you looked for COVID language? And I think that's huge because a lot of the contractors that I'm dealing with, the small emerging contractors, honestly, they're not looking for that language in the contracts. So, you know, having the surety there to kind of assist them and say, hey, our underwriting team is looking at this for you and helping you through this and helping you understand it has been huge.
Right, good point. That's true. We've not seen, you know, that type of language before this pandemic kind of dropped into our laps earlier this year. Tom, anything else that you'd like to add?
Not really. I think that what we have seen is there's, at least it's hopeful on my part, is that it seems like there's been a greater sense of cooperation between like generals and subs in a lot of these things when there's a case going on, a COVID case on job site or something like that. Well, one thing I would like to add though, and it relates to COVID because of the PPP money, and I know this is information from a couple of weeks ago, but the understanding I have regarding how PPP gets recognized, and most of our contractors got PPP money, is that the money that qualifies for grant doesn't have to be recognized as income, but you can't take the expense for the payroll that was assigned for that money. So there is a tax, there could be, and of course you have to talk to your tax accountants and those kind of things, but there could be a tax implication with the PPP money. And I think it behooves us all to make sure our contractors are aware of that so they do the adjustment for the cash and tax implications.
Good points. Good point. The PPP and economic injury disaster loan programs that SBA has offered have been incredibly helpful to small businesses. They just have to be aware that they're going to have to do some planning about how that shows up on their financials and how they deal with some of the forgiveness and some of those kinds of issues. So very good points. Just a reminder to our audience, we have just a couple more questions left for our panel before we open up for Q&A. So if you do have any questions, please submit those using the Q&A button on the bottom of your screen. All right, so our next question is in regards to the surety market. We've been experiencing a very soft surety market in recent years prior to the pandemic. And that meant for small businesses, all businesses really, that bonding capacity was readily available with good terms, higher limits. It was really easy for a small business to get the bonding capacity that they've been able to get the last few years. What do you think the surety market will look like in the short term, say within the next 5 years? Josh, we'll start with you.
That's a great question. I mean, I think as long as, you know, the optimism is high, I think, you know, we're going to be okay. But as we start to see, you know, certain markets tightening, you know, I'll give you an example. I have a contractor that started a mechanical contracting company in 2014 or 15 or so, and he was going after all types of mechanical work. But as the economy continued to strengthen, he focused solely on multifamily. And so, you know, I see as, you know, as one of these markets may tighten up, you know, they may go after school construction or they may go after public work. And, you know, that makes the pre-bid sheet a lot longer, and the bid results are a little tighter and the jobs are cheaper and the contractor's balance sheets start to dwindle. That's when we're going to start seeing challenges. You know, where the SBA is great and where agents like us, I think, are in the best position is we're able to go right to the SBA and help that contractor that, you know, just got turned down on the big jump in job size or the new market that they want to go into.
Always happy to hear that we're relevant. Devin, what about you? What do you see for the surety industry in the next 5 years?
Well, I'm going to take a different approach to this one. I actually see the surety industry going how it's been going in a way. And what I mean by that is when you have underwriting that, you know, is basically common sense underwriting that's being done by some of your underwriters out here. I've had one of the best underwriters with one, and I'm not going to say her name, but one of the best underwriters in the country who has groomed me along the way to look at every file as if it is not a soft market, and understanding that it is a soft market and knowing that we're looking for the things to be able to bring the educational piece to that particular small emerging contractor and help them understand what the actual surety is looking for has allowed us to be able to say, hey, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you should be here. And we create that plan with that contractor and it goes well. Up to this point, it has been going well. And these contractors, they embrace the education. And a lot of that has come from the underwriting. So I think that our underwriters, as long as they keep doing what they've been doing, which is such a great job, it's specifically the one I'm speaking of, I think that the surety market is definitely on the way up and everyone's going to understand what the importance of a surety bond really is.
Good news. I love the optimism. Tom, what about you? What does the next 5 years look like, you think?
You know, I'm sorry. I enjoyed Devin's optimism and enthusiasm, and I certainly hope it's right. But when Josh talked about, the first thing that popped to my mind was SBG agents. We thrive in a hard market because we already know where to go and how to do it. We know how to go to the SBA. We've got all these tools. Not saying I don't know where the market's going to go, but yesterday Adam Pessin kind of made the comment, and I kind of agree with him in that he thought SBA was going to be much more active for the next 24 months. And I see that too. And where we're seeing it now is in new opportunities for contracts over $1 million, whereas some of our standard sureties would look at those kind of accounts that maybe didn't fit their other parameters before. For new business, they're saying no thank you. So we're seeing more of those million plus kind of contract opportunities. And I think that's where SBA is going to see some of those opportunities in the next 24 months. And this one's off the wall, but I think it's a strong possibility. If the sureties start looking at their bottom line rather than being top line driven, and Josh, you know, your $399 quick app, $99,000 quick app, I'm not sure that some of these sureties might start tightening up those quick app credit-based submittal processes because they've been very successful. But I think if there's been a hiccup, they might start tightening those things up. Maybe not for their existing accounts, but for the new accounts. And so I see then, in lieu of writing that business bare, I see them recommending the quick app. So I see two areas where SBA is going to be very much more active, or potentially, in that $1 million plus level, plus the under 400,000 bare, soon to be maybe $500,000 level. 5 years from now, I don't see the market being as soft, but I don't think it's going to be much different than how Devin looks at it either.
That was very realistic. I'm a bit of a realist myself. Shirley, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, there's so much going on in the world right now that we really don't know where anything's going. I mean, you got COVID, you know, we're going to end up in a recession. We don't know for how long. So I see the market, yeah, it's really soft right now, but I honestly feel it's going to harden because of the economy. You're going to see a lot of contractors that aren't going to be able to stay in business. They're going to be going down. You know, we've seen this back in 2007. And, you know, that was one of my best years because we wrote bonds in the SBA Bond Guarantee Program. So we were able to succeed when some of the other companies weren't, because they were just handling, you know, the big guy who's losing money and couldn't figure out how to handle himself in a recession, when not to keep your employees on, let them go. You know, there's so many factors that is going to determine the next 5 years. This year, I never expected it to be this way. I never expected us to be virtually doing this. I expected to be somewhere where this meeting was actually supposed to be held. So the world is ever changing, and I can't predict the next 5 years. I wish I could. I want a nice little crystal ball that's going to tell me what's going to happen. But I know if you participate in the SBA Bond Guarantee Program, you're always going to be okay. Because when the recession goes, when, you know, the economy goes and tanks, what's there left? The SBA Bond Guarantee Program to assist the small and emerging contractor, or the contractor who needs to increase his bonding and can't. And that's what you're there for.
Excellent point, Shirley. And yeah, I think if we all had a crystal ball, I think we all would have been much more prepared for what's going on right now.
Right now, that's what I said.
I
I
not
can't
have
predict
been
anymore.
as blindsided.
Yeah, can't predict anymore.
Good point. Yeah. All right. Well, as we kind of get closer to the end of our time today, I would like to give each of you the opportunity to provide some advice to a new emerging small business that's interested in performing bonded projects, or to a bond agent who's not currently using the program, or both, should you choose. So what would you say to a new emerging small business who is just starting out, they're looking to do some bonded work, or to an agent, a bond agent who is not currently participating in our program? Devin, we'll start with you.
Well, to the small business, I definitely would say education, education, education. It's the thing of the future, right? The Surety Bond Guarantee Program, I'm going to merge these answers here. The Surety Bond Guarantee Program is the way of the future. So I would also tell the agents, lean into the future, because the SBG program is really mitigating risk. It's a great resource for agents to go to if they're having trouble in the standard market. And I don't think there's another program out there that compares. Of course, some of the sureties would probably have me for that one, but I do think that this is one of the programs that really makes a difference in some of the small emerging contractors being certified or non-certified businesses. It really makes a difference when it comes to doing a $400,000 project, or even if it's your first and you're doing a $100,000 project. The SBA is willing to stand behind you and assist you in growing to become a sustainable business. So lean into the future, and good luck in the next 5 years, because here we come.
Fantastic. What about you, Tom? What's your advice?
Devin, well said. Very
Right?
nicely said. Thank you. I would like to just add a couple of things. Peter yesterday talked about how he would encourage anybody, any contractor, to go out and get their first bond, regardless, and not, I mean, they do lean on the bigger general contractors to get some bonds, but the first opportunity a contractor to get their bond, go for it. You know, our process is I got in trouble back in many years ago. I was on a panel and I was in this panel, and one of the surety standard guys said, you know, you gotta have guidelines for any level of risk in surety. No, I disagree with that then. I disagree with that now. I think character for small contractors is every bit as important as their financial statement. If you have character, small contractors will figure out ways to protect their business because it's their passion. So I'm one of these guys that really believes in character. Our first question to our accounts is, tell us your story. Tell us who you are. And then we go and start saying, okay, here's where are your goals? We ask the questions. Then we figure out how we approach it so that we can become their advocate. And most times, starting up, it's SBA. And for the SBG agents, you know, there's nothing more satisfying. There really is nothing more satisfying than growing a small account. And surely, I mean, you'll say it when you see your accounts that graduate and you're still hanging with them. You know, our business model is a little different. We used to, when we were more of a general agent, so we worked with sub agents. So when accounts would graduate, we kind of lose track of them, except when we'd see their trucks on the street or whatever. but we're now, you know, we're now looking at it and saying, you know, we don't want to lose those accounts anymore. So we've been dealing more on a direct basis with some of these businesses, but there's nothing more satisfying for an agent.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Good to hear. Good to hear, Tom. What about you, Shirley? What's your advice for emerging small businesses and or non-SBA authorized agents?
Well, for the small businesses, I would recommend that when you're looking for that first bond, look for a good agent who actually handles surety bonds. There's so many agents out there that don't even know what a surety bond is. And normally when you as a contractor and you first start out in business, you usually go to your insurance agent. But a lot of times your insurance agent is very good at selling insurance, but he's not good at selling bonds because he really doesn't know much about them. So that's what I would recommend for the first time contractor, is looking for somebody who actually knows surety from beginning to end, because there are so many out there that does not. And as for the agent, I would recommend that he gets educated and that he looks at the world and says, yeah, there's other things out there that I can help, you know, my client with. And that's what they really need to do, is to get a little bit more educated. Some just don't want to do bonds, some do, and some don't. So look for that good agent that is going to help you in your career get from where you are today to excelling to where you want to be.
Good advice. I love that. Thank you. And I guess we'll wrap the question up with you, Josh. What's your advice?
Oh gosh, it's hard to follow all those comments. They're all great ones. I was going to say, get a good bonding agent. You know, we do a lot of educational seminars and training, you know, in our neck of the woods. And, you know, we say a couple things. We say, look, if you can make money and build a good product, you deserve to get a bond. But after that, you know, once you've made the money, it's what you do with it. And it's all the things that we have in a conversation. But we always say there's 3 key steps when you're looking to establish bonding in our Bonding 101 workshop. 1, get started now. Even if you don't need a bond, just, you know, call an agent, talk to them, you know, build a relationship with somebody. Number 2, get a good construction-oriented CPA. Start talking to somebody now. I mean, it's really painful when you go from somebody that says, oh, I've got my cousin or my nephew who's going to do my book and my taxes, and then you're having a conversation with them about why they, you know, bought a bunch of equipment when they really didn't need it, and now they got to start all over again, you know, in the next year. And then number 3, get a copy of your credit report. You know, I'm not afraid to say it because the name is so common. I have a client named Joseph Smith. There's a lot of Joseph Smiths out there, and a lot of them with bad credit. And in my particular client's case, you know, there were just some bad things on his credit, but thankfully he was able to, you know, show me the issues and show me that he's worked to rectify it, and we were able to get him a bond. But if you're behind the 8 ball and you've got this contract that you need the bond for, and you've got, you know, an old judgment on there that needs to be off, you know, get it now and get it fixed. You know, and then to agents out there, I mean, I heard you say it yesterday, Tamara, it's the best kept secret in the industry. It really is. And the fact that you can double, triple, quadruple somebody's bond program through the SBA is incredible. Contractors with negative working capital can get a bond. I mean, I'm not, you know, saying anything that we don't already know or have been able to do ourselves. But if the character's there and you can show a way that you can get bonded, the SBA will listen. It really is the best kept secret.
Well, hopefully not after this. Good advice. Good advice. I love that. All right. Well, we have a few more minutes. That's kind of the end of our Q&A questions for our panels portion of the roundtable. So before we wrap things up and move into our award ceremony hour, let's see if we have any questions from our conference attendees. Jermaine?
Hi, it's actually Kevin.
Oh, hi, Kevin.
Hi. So we do have a few questions. The first one is from Michael. What can a contractor do to avoid risk right now? And I'm assuming that that means in today's climate.
All right. Who wants to tackle that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I mean, there's so many things you can do, and risk is
There's so many risks.
Yeah, and there's you know, it's a very broad question, but you know, if we're looking at it right now, you know, we mentioned the force majeure clause in contracts, you know, making sure that's incorporated, you know, with your contracts. Documentation is probably the most important thing that you can do. As you see an issue, document. Even if it's an annoying email or text message or a phone call that you've documented, you know, document that process, because right now the superintendent tells you it's not a problem, but when it comes to collecting your retention and they say, well, this was late, that was late, you didn't tell us, that's when it becomes an issue. So document the heck out of your file.
The other side too that I would add on that, just to avoid risk, is just to make sure that your labor, your employees, your labor pool is manageable, well managed, and you have, you know, if you have a COVID hiccup or something like that, that you can get through that, because it's hard to find help right now other than the ones you have already on, that you're already paying.
All right. There's another question from Anonymous. If I have poor credit, will that prevent me from getting a bond?
The answer is depending upon how bad the credit is. There's outstanding tax liens or judgments. Most sureties are going to want those to be taken care of. If you have outstanding tax liens, federal or state, we're going to want to see a copy of your payment plan with the IRS or the state. And we're going to want to make sure that your payments are all current. So you'll have to have a letter from the IRS or the state indicating that your payments are current. And then on a monthly basis, every time you make that payment, we're going to want a copy of it.
I agree with Shirley. The sureties that I do business with, they won't turn you down because of credit. Now, we'll look in deep and in depth of your credit history to see what's going wrong and what's going on in that situation, but solely not on the credit score alone. We won't turn you down because of that. Not the sureties that I do business with. They definitely, again, it's common sense underwriting. And during that process, after seeing what's going on, we will educate you along that process as well. Tell you exactly what we're looking for and what we would need for you to handle to make us feel comfortable, or again, to make this account be palatable for the surety in general. So I've never, none of the companies that I'm doing business with, none of them have ever turned anyone down because of credit alone.
And I would just add also that I don't think anybody on this panel would say that we are going to underwrite based on your credit score as being any kind of qualification. There's more to it than that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right, Tamara, it looks like we may be getting the notice that either one last question or we're done. What do you know?
I think we have about 2 minutes left. Do we have one more question we can answer quickly?
Yeah, an easy question. It's from Karen regarding PPP loan money. Are you seeing a boost in bonding from contractors that receive that money?
You mean an increase in bond capacity? Is that what you're asking?
It's a boost in bonding.
Sounds like capacity.
Yeah, sounds like an
Okay.
increase in bonding capacity to me.
Right, yeah. A lot of the PPP loans out there, of course, are, beefing up those balance sheets, as we all can see. There's more working capital out there now because most of the PPP loans are falling into the long-term debt. There's only a certain portion is going to be current. And hopefully if that loan is forgiven, it's going to give these contractors a good boost and getting an increase in bonding. And so, yeah, the PPP loans I have seen, especially in the standard markets, where they are giving more surety credit now because of them.
All right, well, that's good to hear. I think we're out of time for today. So I'd just like to thank you all for sharing your time and your valuable insight with our audience today. I know I enjoyed hearing your perspectives and having such a great discussion, and I'm sure our audience did as well. We appreciate your partnership with SBA and your willingness to help us open doors to bonding for small businesses. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for your feedback and all of your professional advice. We will now send it back to Kedar to take us into our next opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Tamara.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thanks.
Nice job.
Thank you, everyone. You guys did such a great job. I'm learning so much. And Tamara, what a wonderful moderator you are.
Oh.
Be sure, can you hear me? Okay. Be sure to join us for our concluding keynote session with Marcus Lemonis at 4 p.m. But first, our closing session, part 1, will recognize those with significant industry accomplishments. Stay tuned for that to start shortly.
Small businesses are the backbone of our country. The Surety Bond Guarantee Program is helping small contractors, small businesses that would otherwise not be able to participate on a specific project.
SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program was created officially on December 30th, 1970 through a Housing and Urban Development Act that was passed by Congress. The early 70s, there was a lot of economic tumult going on at the time, and the Housing and Urban Development Act was passed with the Surety Bond Guarantee Program in it in order to create access to contracting opportunities for small businesses.
A surety bond is a three-party agreement between a small business, a surety company, and the owner. And what it does, it just guarantees to the owner that the job is completed.
The program is pretty much based around socially disadvantaged and minority contractors that would not be able to secure bonding without the SBA support.
The SBA Bonding Guarantee Program helps these firms have access to opportunities where they would otherwise be declined.
80% of the businesses that we support are in the construction area, but we can also support any business that requires a surety bond as part of the contract. We can support private or public. All the loan programs are administered through the Office of Cap Access, and within Cap Access you have the Office of Surety Guarantees. I think in the first year We did less than 100 bonds. And last year we did over 7,000 bonds.
We've made a lot of progress from the days of sitting down at a typewriter and you know, hand completing these forms to the digital era that we're now in. The SBA has made leaps and bounds in terms of becoming more efficient and more economical to work with.
So none of this would be possible if I didn't have a staff who believed in the mission of SBA and the mission of the office and is dedicated to serving, you know, small businesses. I can't tell you how this program has really impacted people's lives, where small businesses actually walk up to me and tears coming down their eyes and tell me every time I go out, I get these types of stories.
We landed substantial work as being bonded through the SBA, helping us stay competitive in our particular market. But mostly, I would say the businesses that don't have experience and financial backing to get bonded, the SBA is real good at lending a good hand at that. So we're very grateful.
We've been in business 17 years. About 3 years ago, the economy really hurt us and we had to shut our business down temporarily. And when we applied with the SBA, our limit went from $300,000 to $1 million. This program has definitely helped us, not in only providing or helping us grow our business, but being able to hire more people and grow our business, and therefore helping the economy, because now we're providing other people with jobs.
The legacy is a long legacy of success for companies, and not only just contractors, but all the companies that the SBA has assisted over those 50 years, where companies otherwise may have failed in their endeavors.
It's an important program, I think, for a lot of different partners that we work with and for small businesses as well. So for small businesses, they gain the advantage of access to contracting opportunities. But we also help agents and surety companies. Agents, bond agents, have the ability to increase their client base by accessing SBA's Bond Guarantee Program. The Surety Bond Guarantee Program is sometimes a very well-kept secret, and that's not necessarily a good thing. We want small businesses, we want bond agents and surety companies to know that the Surety Bond Guarantee Program is here. We have been here for 50 years. We plan to be here for another 50 years and beyond.
It's keeping so many people employed and able to put food on the table and pay their bills and mortgages. And again, that alone, I think, is just really a cause for celebration.
The SBA Bonding Guarantee Program is going to continue to help small businesses gain access to opportunities that they otherwise would not have had. And I have no doubt that they will continue to assist small businesses for another 50 years in the future.
50 years is quite an accomplishment. We've really enjoyed our partnership with you. Our clients have benefited because of you, and we look forward to the years of partnership ahead.
I can't imagine how many small businesses like ours were able to grow. So it's a great accomplishment, not only for the SBA, but for all the small businesses that have been involved during those 50 years.
I want the legacy for the Office of Surety Guarantee to show that there is a program that, because of a strong partnership with the industry, small business have an opportunity to succeed. It's meeting the mission of the Small Business Administration to help grow and make successful small businesses.
Welcome back. And now, drum roll. This is the moment you all been waiting for. I know you're at the edge of your seats. Our OSG Awards. And here to present the awards is SBG Specialist Danny Vu. It's on you, my man. Go.
Thank you, Kadar.
You got it. Take it over, brother.
To begin, I would like to say that we are extremely thankful for all of our partners, including surety companies, surety agents, and small businesses in their participation in the Surety Bond Guarantee Program. I'm honored to be selected to present these awards. We wish we can give all of our partners from 1970 an award. Selecting these awardees today was not easy. To start off, I would like to present our annual awards for 2020. The office normally selects 4 awardees, and this year's awardees are: for Surety of the Year, we have selected Markel Surety, for Agency of the Year, the award goes to Valley Surety Insurance Agency. For Agent of the Year, we have selected Victoria Gupta from CCI. And for the Small Business of the Year, B&G Construction, Inc. At this time, we would like to give a few minutes to hear a few words from Bettina Fulford with B&G Construction. Bettina, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for this award. It was really a surprise. And we're honored that you chose our business. So thank you. And got this in the mail. Pretty amazing, huh?
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
You're
Make
welcome.
sure that
Thank
gets
you.
displayed with pride.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to ask me?
Oh, no, just wanted to hear what, how you feel about the awards or the award that you received.
Right. I was interviewed like some of the other businesses for, I think it was like 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. And really didn't expect to get an award for that. But I just want to express our gratitude again to the SBA. When we started out, really, we weren't capable at that time of obtaining bonding. And I have to mention our agent, Paul Sembriana. He has been amazing. And he's with Ginyard Company. He has always had our back, and he's like Johnny on the spot, always calling, checking in, and making sure that we have what we need.
Nice.
Also, yeah, for sure.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You do the same.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Next, I would like to present the Office of Surety Guarantee Directors Awards. There are 2 Directors Awards. This is to show recognition to the 2 trade association who has a tremendous relationship with the Office of Surety Guarantee. The first award was presented to National Association of Surety Bond Producers, and the other goes to the Surety and Fidelity Association of America. Let's give a few minutes to hear a few words from Lee Covington with the Surety and Fidelity Association of America.
Well, thank you, Danny, and thanks the SBA program. We again just want to commend and congratulate the SBA on your 50th anniversary, and we're so pleased to be such a key partner of the SBA. And as they always say, to have good partners, you got to be good partners, and so we're committed to that. And on behalf of the SFA Board of Directors, our members, the team that has worked with the SBA for so many years here at SFA, we appreciate very much this award. Look forward to many more years of working together and even strengthening our relationship. So thank you again, Danny, and thank you, Peter, and the entire SBA Bond Guarantee Program team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lee. Next is our Outstanding Agency Award. These awards goes to our most consistent active producers of our Surety Bond Guarantee Program. CCI Surety Inc., Freedom Bonding Inc., COG International Inc., Murray Insurance Agency, and Nielsen Hoover and Company. Let's give 2 to 3 minutes to hear a few words from Greg Allen with COG International.
Hey, thanks, Danny. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Great. Yeah, thank you. I want to start off by thanking Peter, the district directors, and all the staff at the SBA that we interact with on a daily basis for this award. It truly is an honor. I also want to thank the SBA for putting on this virtual conference. I know a lot of effort went into it with coordinating speakers, panelists, technology, so it really was an excellent conference for all the attendees, so thank you to the SBA for that. Also, just want to obviously congratulate the SBA on their 50th year anniversary with helping small business get bonding, and really are looking forward to the next 50 years. So thank you again for recognizing COG and all the other recipients.
Thank you, Greg. Have a good one. Next is our Outstanding Surety Award. These are our partners that consistently support the mission of the Surety Bond Guarantee. Travelers Casualty and Surety Company of America, Contractor Bonding and Insurance Company, the Guarantee Company of North America, Tokyo Marine HCC Group, and Crum & Forster. Let's give it 2 to 3 minutes to hear a few words from Ed Woods from the Guarantee Company of North America. Ed, are you there?
How's that? Better?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, thanks. The Guarantee Company has been a participant in the SBA Bond Guarantee Program for about 15 years now. At one point, there were only 7 or 8 sureties still active in the program, but we felt this was a very valuable tool, and we continue to use the program on a regular basis. This allowed us to provide bonding for smaller contractors who had good potential, but hadn't quite reached the point of becoming standard surety accounts. Over time, many of these accounts graduated from the SBA program and are now part of our regular surety portfolio. We continue to use the SBA program successfully. We greatly appreciate the help and support we receive from Peter and his entire SBA staff. These are really good people to work with. So on behalf of the entire Guarantee USA team, I am very pleased to accept this award as Outstanding Surety. We look forward to continued success with the SBA under our new name, Intact Specialty Surety Solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. And last but not least is our Lifetime Impact Award. Initially, we wanted to select 5 individuals for this award, but there was so many great candidates, so we decided to increase it to 20. And here are the 20 awardees. Paul Abrams with Crum & Forster, 18 years with the Surety Bond Guarantee Program. Shirley Ball with Valley Surety Insurance Agency, 39 years with the SBG program. Barbara Brannon with the Small Business Administration, 34 years with the SBG program. Bindu Chaharbro with Tokyo Marine HCC Surety, 25 years with the SBG program. Julie Dahlgren with Hudson Insurance Group, 35 years with the SBG program. Thomas Eubanks with Preferred Bonding, 30 years with the SBG program. Kimberly Forrest with Travelers Casualty and Surety Company of America, 41 years with the SBG program. Dorothy Clashote Wood with SBA, 22 years with the SBG program. John Knox with Markel Surety, over 40 years with the SBG program. Frank Lanick with Tokyo Marine HCC Surety, 20 years with the Surety Bond Guarantee Program. William Bill Manger with SBA, over 14 years with the SBG program. Alicia Marasco with Capstone Brokerage, over 20 years with the SBG program. John Miller with the Small Business Administration, 21 years with the SBG program. Murtis Morgan, SBA, 38 years with the SBG program. Sam Newberry, American Surety Bonds Agency, nearly 40 years with the SBG program. Thomas Sauer with Thomas Sauer Bonding Agency, 42 years with the SBG program. Lynn Schubert, the Surety and Fidelity Association of America, 30 years. Pam Swelling with SBA, 33 years with the Surety Bond Guarantee Program. Susan White with CNA Surety, 22 years with the SBG program. And Patricia Zanizo with Preferred Bonding, over 20 years with the Surety Bond Guarantee Program. At this time, we would like to give 1 to 2 minutes to hear a few words from this individual. Please welcome Tom Sauer.
Hello all, I'm hoping you can hear me. I don't see any picture yet.
We can hear you.
Very good, thank you. Boy, I'm looking at this list and wow, are there a lot of old friends and names on this list of people that I've worked with for a very long time. Congratulations to everyone here that's been cited. You're all very deserving folks. What an honor. 42 years of just loving the business, loving Surety, loving the SBA, and you know, just being surrounded by great partners. You know, on this list right now, Paul Abrams, you're a great partner. Kim Forrest, we worked together for a long time. Dorothy, I mean, my goodness, you were the SBA director. Murtis and Pam, a lot of years. Thank you so much for this award. It's been quite the honor, and I've just been surrounded by so many great employees and Surety partners and the SBA, and no offense to anybody prior, but Peter, I'm just so impressed with everything you've done with this SBG program and the direction you've taken it and your innovation, and this conference has been great. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for this award. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, Tom. Up next is John Knox. John, are you there? Maybe some technical difficulties. Oh, there you are.
Now, is it unmuted?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, they keep muting it on the other end. Okay. I want to thank you very much. It's very interesting. I started writing in the SBA program in the late 70s. I think Tom Sauer is the only one old enough on this call to remember those early days with Balboa and some of that. And I was able to build with a team of people that were dedicated and working with the SBA program, build an organization that we developed into a surety company, into Universal Surety of America, which became the largest surety in Texas in the middle of a depression in the 80s in Texas. It was very interesting time. So we lived through and we saw the benefits of what SBA did. And when I look back and see that, it's pretty amazing. And in March, the second week of March of this year, I thought I was going to kind of end my career in the surety business with a disaster as I saw the world being shut down. And we have become so fortunate, and I think sometimes we don't appreciate it, that construction got designated as a vital service that went on, and we were able to get the PPP loans in to where we have an industry that is in such good shape today, which 6 months ago very much might not have been. And so we get surprises, and we get surprises throughout it. And the consistency of having SBA and having a program there that will continue to support through future cycles. As people have mentioned, we don't know what the future leads, but It tends to be a cyclical business with great periods of time, of decades, or maybe even up to 2 decades of prosperity that's led by difficult times. And it's great to know that the SBA program is there. It certainly helped me and our team build some surety companies that we've been very happy with. And thank you for being there. Thank you for that for all of our clients and supporting it. Greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Up next is Susan White.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Hi, my name is Susan White. Wow, Lifetime Impact Award. I want to tell you how deeply honored I am for receiving this award. Ever since I was a little girl, I've always found joy in helping others, and that's still true today. CNA Western joined the SBA Preferred Surety Bond Program in mid-July of 1998. I remember being asked if I would like to be a part of it. Of course, I said I would. Something new that helps people? That's right up my alley. I remember reading and learning all the federal regs, the SBA guidelines, and all of those SBA forms. I was now ready to help people with SBA bonding. In 2006, I received a call from the SBA telling me CNA Western was receiving the first ever Surety Partner of the Year award at the National Business Week. I remember traveling to Washington, D.C. to accept the award. I felt so special being a part of all of this. Then in 2007, CNA Western got the award again. This just increased my passion for the program. Being able to help people achieve their business dreams takes me back to when I was a little girl wanting to help. Needless to say, I believe in the SBA bond program, and I'm happy to work for CNA Western, who supports this awesome program. Thank you again for such an amazing award. I am truly honored. Happy 50th birthday, SBA.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Up next is Dorothy Clishote Wood. Dorothy, are you there?
I'm on.
Can you hear?
I'm on now.
Yeah, we hear you now.
Is my video on?
No, we don't see you.
Okay,
There we
there
go.
we go.
Yep, there we go.
Well, greetings and greetings to all my old buddies there in the business. I am really surprised and honored and humbled to be receiving this Lifetime Impact Award. There's so many that contributed to my successful career. When the Small Business Administration in Kansas City, Missouri hired me in 1972 to administer the new Surety Bond Program Guarantee Program, I have to confess I did not know much about surety bonds. Many surety companies and their underwriters jumped in to give me crash courses on how to become a surety underwriter. I was fortunate to be the first outsider to attend the National Association of Surety Bond Producers School. As my career and surety education continued from Kansas City to Miami to Atlanta to Boston, and finally in 1990 to become the SBG administrator in Washington, D.C. And Peter, the SBA was on a mainframe computer in 1990. The surety companies, the National Association of Surety Bond Producers, and the Surety Association of America remained as my partners and supporters, along with the Association of General Contractors. And I thank all of them for their part in making me successful. Also, this recognition would not have been possible without the support of the very talented and dedicated Surety Bond Guarantee staff, both in Washington, D.C. and in the field offices. I could not have done it without them, and a loud shout of thanks to all of them. Thank you for this wonderful recognition and award.
Thank you, Dorothy. Up next is Lynn Schubert.
Thank you so much. Am I live? Can you hear me? Yes?
We
Okay,
can,
wonderful.
yes, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you. Thank you for letting me be able to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the amazing work that you all do to make small businesses viable and grow in the construction area particularly. It's been a joy to watch. When you all asked me how long I'd been in the surety business by the time I retired, and I discovered it was 30 years, I was absolutely flabbergasted. How could it possibly be 30 years? But I so distinctly remember when I came to the American Insurance Association, Lloyd Provost, who was the president of the SAA, names that you all remember, said to me, the first person in Washington, D.C. you need to meet is Dorothy Clee-Schulte. She's the head of the SBA Surety Bond Guarantee Program, and she is making a difference and starting to make changes. And I have been honored and so pleased to be able to work, whether it was with Dorothy and so many names on this list, Murtis and Pam and Barbara, what a team you all had, or whether it was Frank Lallemere or Peter Gibbs. Each one has been dedicated and changed the program and made it more effective and easier to use. Well, whether it's creating the preferred surety bond program to bring larger sureties into the program with less paperwork, or developing the quick app, or making everything, it seems to be almost everything digital, or reducing the fees. What a tremendous announcement today, Peter. You have been a force at the SBA. And to make that a permanent reduction in fees is going to make a difference. You all should be so proud of what you do. You make a difference in people's lives every single day. I'm honored to have been included over the years as part of the SBA family for so many different events, and so honored to be here today. Thank you so much, and congratulations. I look forward to the next 50.
Thank you, Lynn. Before I move forward, as a correction, Bindu Chaharbra is actually with Hudson. And now I'm going to hand it over to Peter Gibbs.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you, Danny. You did such a great job.
Thank you.
So, you know, we're about half an hour away from a keynote speaker, but I wanted to take this time right now to thank everyone for participating in this virtual conference. We hope that it was informative. We hope that it was intriguing to you. We hope that it was inspirational. And we hope that you learned a lot about our program, and we hope that the stories from the small businesses inspired you to do more, because that's what we're here for. We are motivated to work with small businesses, and we hope that this is what this virtual conference did. So thank you, and we should be starting my discussion with Mr. Lemonis at 4 p.m. So
yeah, 4 p.m. I'm excited. I'm already on, ready to go. I'm here early. That's the key to business. You gotta be here early.
I don't know. Do you want to start now? We can.
No, we can do whatever. But I did want to congratulate the award recipients. I did think that was really spectacular. It's important in this day and age to recognize people for the work that they're doing. It may not seem like a lot, but it's tough, right? Everybody's just working hard trying to make it happen, and I think recognition is one of those nice things that we all need in life. My wife doesn't give me any recognition, which is why I end up with you guys. But I'm super excited and looking forward to the next hour and a half hour.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to it. All right, guys. So we're going to take a break until 4 p.m. We're going to start.
I have one last thing.
Go ahead, Danny.
Okay. Before I close, I and the rest of the Office of Surety Guarantee staff want to take this moment to recognize the dedication, innovation, and hard work of someone who has made all of this possible, our director, Peter Gibbs. Peter assumed the role of director for the Office of Surety Guarantee in May of 2016. Right away, Mr. Gibbs used his expertise to implement enhancements to the Surety Bond Guarantee Program. For small businesses and the surety bond industry, his accomplishments include the strengthening of industry relations, resulting in surety company partnerships increasing from 23 to 41, the expansion of the program Fast Track Bond Guarantee option, better known as Quick Bonds, that now accounts for over 45% of our Surety Bond Guarantee Program, the development of a paperless application process that reduced approval times to under 2 days, the reduction of program fees, which has saved small businesses and partners sureties over $7.5 million in just the last two years. Internally, he has garnered recognition by SBA leadership of programs accomplishments, resulting in greater program inclusions with other SBA assistance programs, created a dedicated marketing team for the program, opened pathways for outreach collaboration between SBA lending and contractor programs, opened a third underwriting office in DC, and provided an immense amount of development and advancement opportunities for his team. With Peter's leadership, the Surety Bond Guarantee Program has become a quick and valued resource for surety partners in their everyday business. The Office of Surety Guarantee has improved in efficiency and consistency between its staff. Finally, small businesses benefit from expanded opportunities as the program continues to find new ways to support their success. From everyone in the Office of Surety Guarantee, thank you, Mr. Gibbs, for your commitment to the SBA Surety Bond Guarantee Program.
I didn't approve this. I want to know who's behind this. No, but it's it's just a pleasure working with the team that we have, and thank you so much. All right.
Right. I would like to close by saying we strongly feel that these awardees have played a significant role in the success of the Office of Surety Guarantee and Surety Bond Program. Again, we are truly thankful for all of our partners, surety companies, surety agents, and small businesses.